We'll take our bombs, we'll make amends here. Where the ring death, we must remain. Relive the pain and turn it on low. 'Cause we must live up to our name. To those who intend on our end, we refuse to let you have the final say. Strike once, strike twice, rebuild this world. We'll take our bombs, we'll make amends here. Where the ring death, we must remain. Relive the pain and turn it on low. 'Cause we must live up to our name. Strike once, we can't let go. Strike twice, rebuild this We'll take our bombs, we'll make amends here. Where the ring death, we must remain. Relive the pain and turn it on low. 'Cause we must live up to our
Dark clouds move closer, but with a deepest red.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our first night, our first Friday night here at the Victoris Triumph Series, baby. That's right. Friday night action is back on the menu. If you've been waiting since the end of last split, you've been clicking in on the Twitch tab, waiting for the games to start. Today's the day, because we are here to look at, once again, the highest level of Amateur League of Legends that Victoris has to offer. I am your host, Becky Rita, and joining me today, I have two wonderful co-casters here. We have Moose, we have TDS. Moose, how you hanging in there today? How you doing?
Wonderful. Oh my goodness. My My adjectives just keep on getting better and better every single time I get to cast with you, Becky Rita. I am doing phenomenal. It is actually a wonderful day. It is beautiful here in the Las Vegas Valley. We are just at the cusp of the end of our spring season. It's like 90 degrees. So, it's just going to get hotter from here. And, it's going to heat up as this Triumph series heats up as well.
Oh, things are going to be heating up. Here it has been rainy and cloudy for the past week.
Ooh.
Rainy, cloudy, and middling. But
Send
you
it
know
all
what?
Sounds
our
like my
way.
city.
Send it all our way. We'll take it.
I would love to. I would love to. I could use a bit more sun around here. I'm getting real pale. More pale than usual, at least.
Uh-oh.
TDS, how are you hanging in there? How are you doing today?
Well, I'll be starting my first time on Victoris. It's super exciting to be here with the highest level of competition. I'm really excited. Honestly, don't know what to expect, but that's the fun of this because anything can happen. And if we get great games, I'm all in for it. Now, I do want to mention something because I want to get into the conversation of cities. I'm going to be all year cold. Hopefully, this can warm me up a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Let's get warmed up. Let's heat up here.
Hopefully.
Try and get some of that Las Vegas heat within our soul.
Sending
you
it.
know.
It's all going
Yeah.
your way. It's
I'll
of it.
receive it. We're
We've
receiving
got-
it.
I wish it worked out.
Who needs more sun? I mean, ridiculous. What are you talking about?
Well,
Okay.
we won't need some of that. We won't need the heat from the sun when we got the heat from these games coming up
Oh, yeah.
throughout the split. But before we get into today's matches, for those of you who are new, or perhaps those of you who have forgotten since the last time we broadcasted the VTS, we're going to quickly go over the format for the league. So how the VTS works is that there are 2 groups with 8 teams in each groups. So 16 teams overall. Teams will play one best of 3 every week over the course of a single round robin. So 7 weeks within the regular season. At the end of the regular season, the top 4 teams from each group advance to playoffs. And that is, of course, 8 teams in playoffs. We can all do the basic math here. And, from there on, it's quarterfinals, semifinals, grand finals. I do not believe there is an elimination bracket, but that could be wrong. Yeah, I don't think there's an elimination.
I don't
Yeah,
think
I
there
didn't
is
see
either.
one.
There wasn't one last split, and I don't think that would have changed. So, yes, you get one shot in playoffs, and if you don't make it, you don't make it. So you got to make it count, but you got to get to playoffs first.
Yep.
But once you get there, at the end of the road, the end of the rainbow, second place will receive $400 for their team, and first place will receive 11 hundo for their team. Quite a sizable prize pool for
Yeah.
an amateur league. Definitely very good stuff, and these teams are going to be putting in their A game every week to make sure that they can stay on top and they can get into playoffs, because in a week with a league this short and with only one round robin, every game counts.
Yeah,
100%.
It is important. I do always mention that at least the first 2 ones are the biggest margin of error that you have, because you can fail on the first 2, but after that you really have to bring your everything, because losing 3 times in a row in such a short league can actually be really detrimental. So there's a small margin of error, but you really need to bring everything as hard as you can to get into the playoffs. After that, anything can go, but the start is really, really important as well.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that, first week, you're trying to get maybe there's some nerves, maybe there's some little bit of miscommunication coming in because you're still developing as a team, you're still trying to draft that identity. Same thing in week 2, but when you move on further into the split, the games become just so much more important because, like you said, only 7 weeks of a regular season means that every single game could potentially be the difference between making playoffs and not. You want to be able to get to that 4 or 5 win threshold, and then at that point, you can kind of breathe a little bit. You're probably not going to fall into elimination if you have 5 wins under your belt, but you want to be able to get to that point, and that means that you've got to continue to improve. You got to continue to take your A game and not let another team that you think that you might be able to win against beat you out in in a best of 3, especially at the beginning of the series, which, bringing us into week 1. We've got a ton of teams. Some of these returning teams from the
Yep.
winter split. Some of these are brand new teams. And, already we're off to the races. A couple of these teams have already played their matches. We get to see a really good one between CB Infusion and Dragonclaw Ocean. But every single game is going to be a ton of fun. And I can't wait to get started here on the main channel.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure we're all ready to get started. And you were talking about those games that have already been played. Yes, things have kicked off a lot sooner than just today. We have a few match results already in
Right.
Group B, the match between TAB and Ragnarok. Storm, is it Ragnarok Storm? I literally just wrote these names. Ragnarok Esports 4.
There we
That's
go.
the team.
Mhm.
They lost to Team Ambition Black in their match in the week, and then Gang 7 Mirage took down Wolfpack Crystal, a returning organization, in their first, or yeah, I think it's Wolfpack Crystal, because Wolfpack
Correct.
Caldera is in Group A, and
Okay.
Wolfpack Caldera, who is a returning team, won their series 2-0 over Mint, who also is a returning organization. I do not know if this team in particular is a returning roster,
I'm.
but it's
I
good to see
think.
some. It's good to see some old faces, and it's good to see some new faces.
Yeah. Speaking of the team, because I am glad that you bring the main organization coming back. If I'm not wrong, it's G7 Mirage, the previous team that was under Main Gaming. If I'm not wrong.
Oh,
So they are playing under a new
oh,
banner because I recognize G7. They were like, this is a thing of back for me because they played in the Now This Is Frontera League of Legends tournament. They played in the highest division, and I was able to catch them, so I recognized them. But I knew that they were a part of Mint, and then also just went away from Mint. So it's a returning organization with a different team.
that's some interesting lore, and definitely if they make it to playoffs against Mint, that's quite a story there for
Yep.
sure for this team. But once again, it's week 1. These
Mhm.
teams have got to get there first. And we're going to see two teams match up today. We got Dragon Claw Ocean matching up against CB in Fusion tonight. And Dragon Claw is a returning organization from the previous split. I recognize the CB brand. I don't actually know if they played last split. I looked at the rosters and I did not see a CB team, but I've seen this org before, so it'll be great to see these two teams match up, and I think it'll be a really exciting match for this first week because looking at these two rosters, they're actually, at least on paper, surprisingly even and very evenly matched.
Right.
Yeah.
I would give the edge slightly towards CB Infusion. Iron 4 Demigod, a master level player, 150 LP, kind of on that cusp. Not quite Grandmaster, but is continuing to climb. Holy Carrot as well. They are in their promotions, trying to be able to get into Masters. So, regardless of the tournament and the outcome of this tournament today, best of luck to Holy Carrot. It's such an achievement to be able to get into Master and then Grandmaster and then Challenger above that. But getting out of Diamond and elevating yourself into Master is definitely a big achievement. So best of luck to him in his promotions. Dragonclaw Ocean, a lot of their members are around the Diamond 3, Diamond 2. They got some Diamond 1 players in there as well. So, really an exciting bunch of players that are going to be able to come in and potentially show off their brand of play moving in through week 1. I want to talk, about, I think, kind of get to know you guys a little bit. I want to ask you guys a quick question. I
Okay.
actually don't know what
Okay.
lanes you guys normally play in League of Legends. I normally play in the jungle. I normally play in the
Oh,
jungle.
I
I
see.
want to know where you guys play.
Okay.
All
Want
right.
to go first?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. You see, the thing is I started the season as a support main, and I've been a support main since like season 5.
Hmm.
Getting stuck down there when there was no role select in queue, so you
The
rolled
good
the
old
dice
days.
and hoped you got a high pick order, so you got the role you wanted. Eventually, I just kept losing the die roll, so I was like, I guess I'm a support main now. So it's been like that for a few seasons now, and then this season I've had enough of 80 carries. I can't stand them. I went back to the retirement home in top lane, you know, the the nice relaxing island where me, the enemy top laner, the enemy top laner's jungler, the enemy top laner's mid laner, the enemy top laner's support all get to hang out together. And it's a great time, you know. I love top lane. Can't get enough of it.
Sounds like a fun experience, not gonna lie. I am much more on the mid lane side. I love playing mid lane. I'm a main mid lane. I don't think I've played anything apart from mid lane, and unless I'm really bored or tired. Like it's really hard to not just love mid lane. So yeah, I'm a main mid laner. Anything you want to go from there, take it.
I appreciate both the top lane. I appreciate the mid lane, and
Best lane.
I just appreciate when a laner doesn't flame me for not being at the lane at that perfect moment. Like, I can't be everywhere at once.
Why not?
I'm trying. Okay, when I can clone my champion's body and be in all three lanes, then everyone will be happy and then things will be perfect. But until then, I just got to get my pathing right. I got to continue to improve, and I'm looking to see these two junglers show me the way. Show me how to be strong in being able to be at the right place at the right time, getting those neutral objectives, and helping the team get out of maybe an awkward early laning phase. But there's a reason why I'm not playing, and there's a reason why I'm behind the mic. It's because I'm better behind the mic than I am in the jungle. But enough of me and my escapades in low level League of
Yeah.
Legends.
Yeah, no, I think that's something
happens.
that that's important to mention here is like if you're frequently watching this channel here, you may see a lot more like gold level players and plat level teams, but these are diamond tier. These are master tier players. These are the actual players who know what they're doing with League of Legends. And this will hopefully lead to some gameplay that is more akin to what you should expect from the pro leagues. Rather, so we'll see less like banning out, you know, one tricks and gimmick champions like Heimerdinger,
Yeah.
Sarniger if he's a gimmick champion. But, you know, we're going to actually see real meta bans, and the meta is going to further define what these teams are going to be looking at. And, you know, right now the meta is still pretty stable. We'll see what happens in the next patch. Boy, that's going to be exciting. But
Mm-hmm.
for the time being, before we get into our games today, I want to get some predictions from the two of you. Moose, you have already told us that you are favoring CBI in this matchup here, but TDS, you haven't given us your prediction. So I'm curious, which team are you favoring going into our first best of 3 of the season?
So I was looking at both teams, and I kind of think Dragonclaw may have some chances here and there, but I also favor CBI much more, especially because some of the players that are on that team I have seen previously. I know some of them, like not only Holy Carrot, but Marius as well. I've seen him previously in some other teams. I may recall wrongly because my memory is not the best, but I think I've seen him in PG level teams trying to get into the PG circuit, which is the highest amateur tier competition. So I think that CBI just simply has players that can just perform super well, and I think that if at this point there's not enough good coordination between either team, the player difference may be enough to just push the win for CBI.
Yeah, no, I would have to agree with that. The players on CBI are certainly more they're better in terms of rank, but of course, rank doesn't mean everything. Team play
Not
matters as
usually.
well. So, from here on, we're going to have to I also would say I'm predicting CBI for this. So, we are ready to get into these games and into the draft. So I'll throw it over to you lads over on the draft screen. Break it down for us, and we can get into the first match of the first season, of the first series of this split of the Victoris Triumph series. Take it away, lads.
Oh boy, we are now in it, and we have begun. Victoria's Triumph Series has indeed begun, and we are getting ourselves into our first draft of the tournament, of the series, of the game. It's going to be a ton of fun, and we're already getting some of those champions that we have seen played aggressively by a lot of these players already getting taken out. The Diana and the Nautilus getting taken away from Matsi and Riley, as well as the Hecarim, so targeting some of the powerful junglers that Matsi has at their disposal. Dragonclaw Ocean, however, they're going a little bit more dynamic. The Kog'Maw gets banned out, the Veigar gets banned out, and the Ornn looking to maybe deny some of those scaling options into the mid to late game, as CBI Infusion, first pick of the game, going to be that Volibear for, I'm assuming, Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, and a really typical jungler that you see much more often in this meta. He's really good at early ganking. He has a lot of early pressure, but can also go be a flex pick into the top lane. We need to keep that in mind potentially. But I really like the pick opting into here to try and have much more aggression with the Snoop Dogg. You also have now, as an answer, the Nocturne. A jungler that will try and play the game post level 6 or at level 6 because that's his biggest power spike of the game and that's where he begins to get some impact. So we may not see much interaction between both junglers because the Nocturne doesn't really want to get anything going. But this jungle matchup already trying to play two different ideas in terms of jungle pathing and jungle style just because of how different both champions really want to attack the early, mid, and late game. And Saya getting picked here. So Saya is the champion that you always want to have when there's a lot of engage on the enemy team, or when you really just want to have a safe AD carry that will not suffer against the enemy team. So I like the Saya. It's a really safe pick, and she also allows for a lot of dive out of your own team, which with the Nocturne already seems to be setting up potentially for that. Oh.
Yeah, Jinx gonna get locked in, though, along with the Lulu. A definitely very strong pairing for Ironforge Demigod and Sigify. I think that's how we say his name. I'm probably gonna be messing up.
I want to say Sigafly.
Sigafly? Okay, there we go. I'm probably gonna be messing up names all folks. I'm sorry. I'm somewhat dyslexic. I sometimes just don't know how to say names correctly, but regardless of that, Jinx Lulu does have the potential to scale into a very strong mid to late game duo, and Mario's now having the opportunity to get some decent CC in the bottom lane as well with the Chompers, with the Polymorph, so that they are able to capitalize on some early game ganks. But for Riley, it's going to be one of his bread and butter champions coming through. The Bard, his most played champion in Season 12 so far, gonna be paired in with Matsi as that Xayah. Most likely, as we look to get into the mid and top lane picks for both of these lanes, I'm actually really looking to see what the R5 pick is going to be for Dragonclaw Ocean. My prediction is that they're going to keep that open for Prince to be available to counter out. He does enjoy to be playing a lot of those potential split pushing carry champions like the Jax, the Aurelia, the Fiora, looking to be Hover to be banned out, the Camille, the Aatrox, and looking to see what they're going to be able to draft in with that because they have a relatively safe bottom lane.
Yeah, I feel like you're pointing out, I would bet on the potential for the counter pick in top lane just because of how much impact you can get by just giving your top laner an advantageous matchup. With the bans that we are seeing currently, Dragonclaw is aiming much more towards the mid lane, even with the Akali being a potential top lane as well. But on the side of CBI Infusion, like you were pointing out, we have those top lane bans potentially for that R5. I would expect maybe a Camille or a Jax here if you want to be the one to blind pick the Camille, because Camille is a really good blind pick champion. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's left open and you just take the Jax away. But I feel like Dragonclaw will really want to play around the potential of having a safe mid laner with a good enough top laner to go for the kill. There wasn't a pick, so hopefully we'll get some notice of what that is, better said. But I feel like there should be a mid lane here. Like if I was thinking about it, I would think something like a Victor would be ideal. Like Victor is still a good enough champion. Syndra wouldn't be a bad option. Orianna either, because you can play around with the ball and the Nocturne. But yeah, the Syndra there, I liked it. Well, it's still a cover. I wouldn't say much, but
yeah,
a good safe mid lane. Yeah, a good safe mid lane was good enough, and I feel like it pairs quite nicely with the Nocturne, and you have good setup with the Bard as well, which allows for the Orianna to have a lot of power.
Yeah, I think the expectation, especially as we move into 12.8 and beyond, Orianna has started to become a little bit more prominent in the mid lane as that stable control and the opportunity to, use that shockwave effectively. And you do have a lot of chances to be able to get in some strong shockwaves with the Paranoia, being able to put out the lights, the tempered fate that would be, that now your opponent can't see. If you're able to get a multi-man tempered fate out of a strong Paranoia use, that could be a really strong Menra ult and an opportunity for them to help carry themselves into the mid game, and especially at those really critical objectives. That's going to be Holy Carrot, though, picking up that Syndra, having that opportunity to be, again, that control mage inside of a different way. Scat of the Week does have that opportunity to bring in some plays here as we get to... I don't know. I don't know what the top lane pick is going to be at the CB Infusion, but I'm sure that we're going to find out very soon.
Yeah, we don't know. I would think it has to be something either tanky or a carry top laner, but that's obviously what you would expect out of this. But we know what that Dragon Claw is looking for. Okay, wait, what?
Pantheon.
What? Like, I know, I heard. I'm just, what? Okay, so it's supposed to be Pantheon. I am actually surprised. This can still be a Pantheon flex. And we talked about this, right? Like, the Jax could have been a pick that the side of Dragonclaw would like to play if it's not banned away, which at the end it didn't happen. So they take the counter pick Pantheon, and this is just setting up for a really heavy top side playing style from Dragonclaw. Because we have the bot lane that is a little bit safe with the Saya. She really doesn't need the Bard to stay down there, which Bard loves to do that. Now you can begin roaming with the Bard, go towards top lane, go towards mid lane, allow for the Jax and the Orianna to get a free time, and then you just begin snowballing out of control over there. Because the longer that they get resources, the better that they can do in the later stage of the game. And I feel like that would be Dragonclaw's playstyle. For CB Infusion, the Pantheon just seems like it enables and strengthens. Yeah, I'm not sure how to say it. Sorry, not English, not American, so it's hard. But
You're good.
It makes their team fighting better. But the Pantheon is really snowball reliant. If he gets behind at any point in the game, it's over. Like, it's done.
Mm-hmm. And so we get to see. I think for me, I think the marquee matchup between these two teams is Mario's playing as a Pantheon versus Prince playing as that Jax. I think whatever top laner is able to get into the mid game, like 10, 12 minute marks with the advantage, is going to have just more control of when and where fights are going to take place for their team. If Prince gets ahead, it means that he can be that split pushing monster that can then teleport in at a moment's notice, get that nice counter strike to get a massive stun, and that at that point, if you're able to get to the backline, it's just going to be all over. But if Marios is able to get ahead, Prince is going to be very ineffective, might be to a point where the CB snowball has already been created, not going to be able to be too effective, and it could just give CB Infusion that opportunity to dictate the pace of the game and get that tempo advantage that they really do need in order to make sure that Holy Carrot and Iron 4 Demigod are able to get to a point where they can just start one-shotting everybody on the map. I don't care how much safety you have with the Xayah. If you end up getting hit by a Scatter the Weak or just massive damage from the Super Mega Death Rockets or whatever CC that CB Infusion can get, it's going to be really, really difficult for a Dragonclaw to be able to keep up the momentum necessary for them to get themselves this win. So really looking to see how both these top lanes are going to play out. But as we get ourselves into the game and as we get ourselves ready for game one, what I like to do and what we're going to be doing here for this split is we're going to be keeping track of every single Dragon Soul that we've got throughout this 10-week season. I want your blind 20% chance prediction choice for game one here, TDS.
So I had a little bit of a curse in the sense that I hate this particular dragon, and it always comes up much more frequently than ever. So for my first game, why not? Let's go for a Cloud Soul. I feel like it's bound to happen. Yeah.
Probably we're gonna see a lot of Cloud Soul. Cloud Soul was my most seen casted Rift in winter of 2022. I've been seeing a lot more Mountain Ocean at the beginning of summer, and considering that we are playing with Dragonclaw Ocean, I'm gonna go with Ocean Soul for game one. I think we're gonna see that. I think that it would benefit both teams very, very well, especially in the side lanes. For Mario's Prince, Matsi, Snoop Dogg could also really use that effectively as well. And if any team is able to get Ocean Soul, I think that that's just so powerful of a soul right now that can bring a lot to the table, especially as we move into the later stages of these team fights. But Chat, I also want to know what you guys think. We're getting some predictions in the chat. Unfortunately, a magical cow's prediction of a Chemtech Soul will not happen. I can guarantee that one. I can guarantee no
Okay,
Chemtech
that's
Soul
out of
here.
nowhere.
Yeah, but you know what? We take what we can. We enjoy it, and let's get those chat predictions for the Dragon Soul for Game 1 in there. But it's gonna be a phenomenal series. Gonna be a ton of fun. We're gonna get completed with the spectator delay here. We're gonna see how Game 1 shakes out between. Oh, okay. Just got confirmation that CB and Fusion having a little bit of technical difficulty, so it might take a little bit longer. And with that being said,
Riot, please.
let's actually hang out for a little bit. Let's chat a little bit more about these teams and the VTS in general. Talking for you, TDS, you're saying that you play a lot of mid lane. Let's talk about this mid lane matchup. Talk about these two control mages. How can Snoop Dogg and Matsy kind of help these mid laners get off the ground running? How are the setups for these ganks going to play out, and how effective do you think they're going to be at the beginning of this game?
So for me, in mid lane particularly, I'm a huge fan of this kind of champions. Not like the flashy Akalis and all that are not fan, but you can really see the ability of a player when they have to play these kind of matchups, because it's a low. It's reliant on being able to thread between hitting the minions, hitting the enemy champions, knowing how to position your abilities, because you play a lot around the ball of Orianna as well as the orbs from the Syndra. So it's really hard to measure up if it's against a really good player. Like years ago, we had that rookie matchup in the mid lane where he just destroyed an Akali because he knew how to play the Orianna so well. So I really like these kinds of matchups. Obviously, it's not the most flashy, like I was pointing out, but it can really tell you a lot about the skill of a player. Now, I think that it's 50-50, sometimes even 60-40 in favor of the Syndra, because her consistent damage output, it's much bigger than the Orianna early on. Like Orianna has a really nice threshold that you can play around with your damage, but Syndra has one extra ability to play around with, and she also has CC, which is something that the Orianna lacks quite a bit, and especially in the early stages of the game. So your setup for your jungler is better, your setup for damage is better, and your threatening potential against the enemy laner is better as well. And that's why, even though I think that it can be 50-50, I feel like this matchup can just become 60-40 out of nowhere if the Syndra player is quite good himself or herself or themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, looking at both Menra and the man, the myth, the holy carrot. Like I said earlier, holy carrot in those promotions to be able to get into master in solo queue. Does have a couple of Syndra games played, but it is not one of his top 10 most played champions currently.
Okay.
So, he does have experience with it in 2021 and in 2020. So it's not like he's inept at the champion, but it could not be as effective, say, as the 105 games that he has with the Vigar. Like, that's the reason why it's banned out. He has so many games with that. We look at Menra on the other side. Menra playing really, really well. Diamond 3, getting some good wins up, trying to be able to go in with that Orianna. Doesn't have a lot of solo queue games played with it in 2022, only 2, but those 2 games are pretty insane. 11.33 KDA on his 2 Orianna games, 100% win rate on the champion, shows that he does have proficiency.
Doing better than me already.
And definitely, it has experience as well. Has been playing, at least on this account, since season 9. So, these are both champions both players that probably have a lot of experience playing against their lane opponent, have a lot of potential to show us what they can bring to the table here in the mid lane, and the opportunity for just some strong plays is definitely going to be there. Let's now...
Yeah.
As we just got confirmation really quick from Cal letting us know that we are in draft, so we will be getting into the game
just a bit more,
very shortly. Yeah, just a bit more time. Let's talk to you, TDS. Let's get some, I guess, good content from you, because you've been involved in the amateur scene now for a little while. I've been, casting for a bunch of different leagues, organizations, and especially, at this level, Diamond, Master level players. What do you think stands out as a really, determining factor between how you see a diamond player as comparatively to say a platinum player. What's the big difference that you see?
So it's one thing that, or not one thing, but things that I've noticed that I feel like there's always a talk about the mechanics, the mechanical aspect, and you can certainly see some differences between the mechanical aspect from a plat player and a diamond player. Like even just the way that they try to move around, you can kind of see a small difference between. It's even more apparent when you go up higher up. But I feel like it's the decision making that they take in most instances, because I feel like plat players are much more inclined to take a decision out of nowhere, and diamond players are at least thinking a little bit more about what they can do. Like it's not super in depth, but they think about a second possibility or a third possibility, whereas I think that the plat players are much more stuck in a singular way of thinking that they have to pull off. Now it doesn't mean that it's bad or anything like that, but I feel like it's that kind of not opening up for much more ideas or not seeing the whole state that can bring a huge difference between these two players. And then even higher up between diamond and the higher up players, you can clearly see that they have another layer to that decision making that they can try and go for. So it is a certain difference. It's not something that you cannot go up against, because if you can go up against that, you can clearly climb. But it's something that people don't tend to realize that kind of block them in place.
You know, a lack of imagination. That I actually,
Would be a way to say it.
yeah, I haven't thought about it like that. You know, the creativity that is required for high level players in order to get or to be able to use those fundamental mechanics in a more dynamic way. It definitely does make sense that, you know, a lack of imagination from a platinum player could be the difference between them being able to win a game and lose a game against a diamond or a
And
master level player.
funnily enough, that also impacts the way that you mechanically play the game, because the thing with mechanics is how you think a play can happen in the just a micro sense. Like what can you do in a micro level that the other player cannot do? And that's things I feel like that's one of the biggest aspects for why we have the best players in the world being so mechanically incredible, is because they see a small windows that other players don't see. Now I'm not saying that plat players can certainly have the mechanical prowess of other players, because if they had it, they probably would be challenger just alone with that. But it's things that we don't tend to consider that can open up a much better array of opportunities for us.
Very, very well said. And I'm super excited to be able to get into our game number 1 here in the Victoris Triumph Series, CB Infusion versus Dragonclaw Ocean. We have confirmation that we are in the spectator delay, folks. Less than 3 minutes remain before we get ourselves into game number 1. So if you guys want to bet in on some of those Victoris points, you guys can do so. Get those predictions in. Think who you guys are going to see the victor here in this game 1 matchup. Definitely going to be a banger. Before we take it to a quick break, let's get some thank yous in the chat to our producer and Magical Cow. Thank you so much, Cal, for everything that you've done so far for us today, setting up for this tournament and for Victoris in general. Thank you very much for everything that you do. We wouldn't be here without you. And of course, our host, Becky Rita, bringing us in and going to take us home later today. It's going to be a ton of fun. Let's go ahead and take that quick break, and we'll be right back before you know it. See you guys shortly. All right, everybody, welcome back. It was a short break, but we are now live for our first game of the Victoris Triumph Series. Season 2022 Summer Split has indeed begun. Moose and TDS here on the mic for Game 1 as we get to take a look at what we've got in store from us. Snoop Dogg, we got the Predator Ghost build lined up for this polar bear. No flash. Really showing some gusto here at the beginning of this series.
Yeah, you know what? Respect. I've never seen that. I'm glad we're going to get a taste of that. And it does mean that early game prowess from the Bolivar can actually be quite fearful because he will be able to get on top of a lot of members even if they flash away. Like, that's going to be super harsh on some of the players. Oh, early trading in mid lane.
Yeah, a ton of trading already, and it just ends up going back and forth. Those corrupting potions getting taken down a little bit there, but with both of these mages going for that summon Airy, it only makes sense.
I have a quick question actually. It's not Membra, right? It's Koskinen, from what it seems. In the mid lane, I mean.
It looks like, it looked like they were regenning, right? Like it's both summon Airy, correct?
No. I mean, player-wise, it's not Menra. It's Koskinen that is playing the Oriana.
Oh, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, so different player. I actually wasn't sure, so I have no information on Caustic in here, but regardless of that, still going to be that same dynamic. We want to see who's going to be able to get that level of control, how much roaming are they going to be able to bring to the table, and what exactly they can do with it. But, keeping that in mind, we do get ourselves a mirror jungle clear. Blue or red buffs taken first, full clears coming in from both of these junglers, which could mean that we're going to get a top lane gank for Mario's here to go up against Prince to try to maybe stop that split pushing power from getting ahead too quickly.
Yeah, and I like that the lane is kind of set up perfectly for that potential. You also have the ignite advantage on Mario's, which, I think he's pretty much dead. The ghost already, I think Snoop Dogg has the ghost potential. Yeah, I feel like it's hard for this to not work out.
No mana and no hope. Great use of the shield. Dropping the hammer, and we have first blood in the Victorious Triumph series. Oh my goodness, it has begun.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that we see the ghost just starting to work out that well. And that is the thing, like you can flash away, and this is without the predator. It was just the ghost into the stun. But I really like you pointed out, the shield setup or the storm. I think it's Eye of the Storm, or I'm not actually sure. But the setup for that was so nicely. It gets on top of the Jax, the slow happens, easy kill for the Bolivar. And I think that Pantheon gets an assist, and he didn't even use Ignite, which means that there's a chance for a potential solo kill in the top lane as well.
Yeah, really massive here, especially as we get that play. Hold that thought, though. It's going to be Iron 4 Demigod in trouble. Going to get hit by a little bit of damage, but has the barrier, has the shield from Signify, but it's not quite enough. Going to be dropping a double kill for Ojafu, the Zaya on the board.
It's the heal diff. The fact that Demigod doesn't have the heal nor Sigafly means that there's not a chance for the Jinx to survive long enough. But crucial heal out of the Saya, crucial ignite out of Rally to get the last damage down. And a play that almost looked kind of iffy ends up working out for DCO. Really nicely played. They get a good advantage back, and they are now in the gold lead thanks to that. One thing that I do want to see is does Bolivar have the Predator already, or is it going back to collect it? Yeah, he just got it.
Yeah, he's got it. Yeah, first blood gold. I'm going to be able to get the Predator, Ionian Boots of Lucidity as well. So, on the move and looking to continue to use that Predator and that extra movement speed to be able to pick up maybe more kills, maybe stabilize the bottom lane a little bit. But as you predicted, TDS, the moment that the Zaya Ojafu is going to be feeling pretty confident here, it's 1v2 City. Already roaming up, dropping wards in the river, and looking to be able to maybe go in for plays in the mid lane and beyond. Hextech Drake is spawned. That is the first Drake here in today's game.
You're right.
So
it's not Hextech Soul.
Yep, no Hextech Soul today. Not this time. But you know what? we're going to see if it is going to be indeed that Ocean Soul or maybe even that Cloud Soul, because those are still both available here. But, really, really nicely done. Ojifu now starting off very happy with that Noon Quiver. Gets an extra dagger on top of that as well. And so far for Dragonclaw Ocean, they've got themselves a really strong early game in the bottom lane.
Yeah, really nice that they get a strong bot lane already, particularly because of what we're pointing out with the Saya getting free time away.
Yeah, easy.
I was
We
trying
take
to
that
think
there.
what to say. Yeah, I was trying to think what to say there, but it just happened out of nowhere. And it was Prince that started that. He wanted to go for the solo kill because he hit level 6, but Pantheon has a serrated Dirk over you and also the Ignite. Even without level 6, Pantheon doesn't need level 6 to fight your 1v1. Like, level 6 is completely meaningless in that fight for Pantheon. You take the Jax takes the fight and ends up losing out of, like, just like that. And this is a really bad situation for Dragonclaw, not because,
Okay, hold that thought though. It's gonna be
yeah.
Mario's try to go in for the Grand Starfall against Koshikin as the Scatter of the Week comes
The
in.
shockwave!
Great shockwave though, and that's gonna be Koshikin going to be able to pick up one, and now Marios is on the run, gonna be able to survive, and now gonna have to clear out mid lane, but a play kind of ill-advised and ineffective, gonna give another kill over to Dragonclaw.
Yeah, and kind of random if I'm honest, because we see Marius utilizing the Great Skyfall. I'm not against that, but if it fails, if it doesn't even flow flash, it's fine. Then you don't continue taking the play, but they know that they are on the dragon, that Dragonclaw is on the dragon, because you see the signaling on the on the map.
Oh boy, Mario's though down to about 200
Oliver is
HP.
coming back though.
Yeah, can't quite get it, but now Snoop Dogg looking to be able to maybe give a bonk against Prince. Predator is used. The stun is going to land. Not going to be able to get the slow from the Eye of the Storm, but is going to be able to drop some damage. Counter-Strike is used. Gonna be Prince using the Counter-Strike to outplay Mario's, being able to get one. Oh my god! Prince outplays the 2v1 flawlessly and is able to get back on the board.
Yeah, and it's not just the fact that Prince outplays that, but it's on the side of CBI for the execution out of that. Because we see Snoop Dogg coming in, like, we know that he's coming in, but it's too late. Like, he pops the stun way too late for the play to happen, and he just ends up paying the price. It was looking quite nicely, but great outplay by Prince. He gets the double kill. It's just looking now marvelous for Dragonclaw. 5-2 in the kill differences, a Dragon lead, and a lot of gold into their pockets as well.
Yeah, all of that early power from Prince now not going to be available. We can take a look at that one more time. See what happens. CB Infusion just like off the ball there, TDS.
Yeah, the way that it happens, we have first of all the part of the mid lane, the play that they tried to force. I think that it was quite apparent because we didn't see the Pantheon, so it didn't happen. But look at that. You know the dragon is down now. You know that they are on this area. You know that they can respawn. So you're just baiting yourself to die here. Great shockwave, great response by the side of Dragonclaw, and it's just a disadvantageous fight. And I'm not sure if we get as well the top lane fight, but that one just is part of the misexecution that happens. Oh, talking about top lane.
Yeah, Mario's gonna get hit by the Tempered Fate, and now the Paranoia comes in. Prince just takes that kill, and Massey feel a little sad that he didn't get the assist there, but that is a killing spree for your Jax.
Yeah, and this is kind of a thing, like, we saw the first gank from Snoop Dogg work quite nicely. We really liked how he did it to try and get the top lane ahead, but when the ganks stopped happening, when the level 6 was hit, the level 6.
We're continuing to keep going. Stormbringer is not ready, but the Super Mega Death Rocket will get flashed away. Ojifu's now going to try to use the Feather Storm to survive, but not quite going to, as we get a shutdown coming in. But do they get out of this? We got Kosakin coming through, has a Shockwave ready to be a lot of damage. Prince on a Rampage coming in with a teleport. Holy Carrot is now trying to be able to do what they can, but they're going to fall off. Demigod's going to die. It's a triple. It's a quadra kill for Prince in a 4-for-2 play in favor of DCO.
So we went from Jax being really far behind, dying in a 1v1, to Jax getting a quadro kill at 10 minutes, 7-2 with a full Blade of the Ring King. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how that was possible, but DCO are in such a great spot already. The Nocturne has found so much impact. Yes, the Saya died, but she's 2-on-1. It doesn't matter. You get so much value on the rest of the map, and we talked about this. This is a game that it's bound to be played around your top side, not around your bot lane. So the fact that the Jax is so far ahead, it's what that Dragonclaw drafted for and what they really, really want to play for, especially now that they have opened up a side lane.
Yeah, I mean, already you saw earlier, Marios and Snoop Dogg weren't able to take that 2v1, and now with Prince getting 4 extra kills, it just seems so difficult. We get to take a look at what happened once again.
Yeah, I'm surprised. They didn't have the ultimate from the Bolivar. I was expecting to see it coming, but first of all, the flash out of OG to try and buy themselves enough time. I really like the stun at Holy Carrot, but it's just that everyone was set in position to respond to this perfectly. Great stun, great setup, and like everything happening quite nicely. On the live though,
Yeah.
he just survives.
Yep.
Like,
I mean, what can you do? Prince is 7-2 with a Blade of the Rune King, and now with the Ionian Boots of Lucidity, has the movement speed to be able to get away and the cooldowns to be able to go in for those leaping strikes to just survive most plays unless it is a dive. And Snoop Dogg,
Yep.
without Stormbringer, that is a very long cooldown. You cannot fight up against Prince, who is now just way too far in the lead. I gotta ask you now, TDS, with the advantage that DCO now has, we also get to see if it is gonna be that Cloud Drake for game 1. Of course it's not a Mountain Drake. I don't really know if there's anything that CBI can do. Prince is gonna try to be able to maybe pick up another 2v1, but Prince is gonna be extremely low. Marios able to get the execute with the Q and does pick up 1,000 gold bounty out of kind of a misplay there from Prince.
Yeah, it was all part of the plan. They waited till the Jax was so fed so that they could get a huge shutdown back.
Oh,
It's all on
absolutely.
their plan. Yeah, it was on their mind all the time. Now, Holy Card needs to be careful. We saw, yeah, they are now living, but we saw where they were, where the members of Dragonclaw were. So he was able to play around that gang quite nicely. And speaking of the top lane, before we forget what just happened, I want to mention a little bit on the Prince misplay, because he tried to play onto the Tribush vision, but because the vision, you lose vision in that Tribush, there was nothing there, he kind of loses the opportunity to actually go for the kill and actually just ends up missing the potential there. So a little bit of a misplay, it can happen. It's one of the most frustrating things in the game, in my opinion. So it's something that can happen. You just have to get over that and keep on playing. The gold lead is still so in favor of Dragonclaw, and they have a lot of control over the map.
Yeah, you take a look there at the just, you know, it looks like there's that graph going more and more in favor of DCO, then a little bit of a bump back up. That's that 1,000 gold that Marios was able to get and is now fairly even in gold against Prince in a 1v1 opportunity here. Prince will not get hit by the turret. The counter strike does not stun out Marios, so Prince will be able to get away, and this is still a 1v1 for the time being. Matty is coming through, though, and could be potentially making this a 2v1. Temper Fate is going to be used to stop the stun. Marios picks up the 1-for-1, though. 2 ultimates get used for that play, but Matsy will make it a 1-for-1 in the top lane. Meanwhile, Ojafu is coming through with the Shirelli is now coming in from Riley. It's going to be the Stormbringer dropping the hammer, and Iron for Demigod dropping a double kill onto the bottom lane, getting some revenge for those early game shenanigans.
Yeah, the Wrath of the Thunderbird. Oh wait, Koskinen?
We are not done yet. It looks like the Eye of the Storm will come in. Oh my god! Kostakin is so good with these shockwaves and actually ends up cleaning up that kill. So across the board and across the rift here, TDS, it is a 3-for-2 in favor of CBI.
Yeah, in honesty, I think CBI likes to take the trade. Honestly, you don't need to throw away the life of your Thunder Bear, but it's fine. You get 3 kills like you're pointing out. And crucially, it was a dive attempt against Marius. He was able to trade one-on-one in that situation where both Paranoia and the Tempered Fate were used. So a lot was committed and he still was able to take down a kill. I'm really, like for CBI, it's actually quite nicely. And then on the other side, really, really important, your Jinx gets a kill. That's actually so valuable because Jinx was quite behind in terms of the gold that she get against the Saya. I feel like Saya was 5,300 gold where we saw the gold graphs, and the Jinx was a little bit behind, so it's quite nice that. Oh,
All right, Ghostikin going to go a little too far forward without checking the brush. Ignite's going to get used. Mario just executes the Lady of Clockwork, sending him back to the workshop in a pretty devastating fashion.
Yeah.
And we're seeing these top laners still continuing to pop off. First, it was Prince with a quadra kill, and now it's Mario's, currently 4-3-1.
You know why Prince got that quadra kill? It was before Marius. It was because Marius wasn't there. So if
Right.
Marius was there, he probably doesn't get it. And I'm just basing that on absolutely nothing. But still, I can dream. The fact that both top laners are actually... Oh, wait.
Okay, we got ourselves another play in the mid lane. Snoop Dogg going to be taking a lot of damage, using the Stormbringer to be able to get away from the Tempered Fate.
Oh my
Iron
God.
Deadly God is in trouble, though. Will be hitting the Wild Growth from Sig, and now Prince is moving forward. Kozakin's going to be able to take one. The Shockwave lands. Massive Shockwave once again will initiate a further follow-up of the fight. Grand Starfall's going to be used, getting tons of damage onto Ojifu, but he's still alive for the time being. The spear will not land. Ojifu's still going to be alive. Ojifu is still alive and will only fall at the end of that play as Prince is able to take down Mario's in potentially the first ace of the VTS. DCO clean that one up.
Yeah, and I feel like it's already being so repetitive watching Koskinen hit those massive shockwaves. Like, it's a 2-man shockwave, a 3-man shockwave. It's not necessarily the full team shockwave, but it finds so much value. It was after the fight seemed to be disengaged from, and he just immediately pulls off the shockwave trigger, gets such a huge shockwave, and wins the fight for Dragonclaw. Importantly as well to point out, there's no teleport from Marius, which means that you have to play around his ultimate. But he was backing, so there was never a chance for him to get to the place. There's an advantage for Jax, and simply they cannot fight. Now, we will have a dragon fight, it seems.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is someone that DCO can play. Kozakin does have the blue buff, so he's going to be looking to be able to get it. Temper Fate does not land onto anybody, though, and the Sorelli is to be able to get that extra movement speed. Kozakin does have Shockwave, but easily taken there by Snoop Dogg. That's going to deny any early soul point for DCO. As we get to take a look at that mid lane fight once again, see CBI, get outzoned in the mid lane.
Yeah, and the fight idea, I can kind of understand it, but it was so nicely highlighted by the side of Dragonclaw. We see the fear, we see the Bolliver be so low, and then everyone was trying to disengage after kind of engaging into a back shot. The shockwave, the ball position was so nice, because they tried to go back to hit Prince for some reason. It just allowed for Cosmin to get such great damage. And the paranoia here was crucial as well, because Marius couldn't get into position to get a kill. Like, he didn't see the Saya be so low, the Bard be so low. He was trying to look for people, but he couldn't see them. So everything kind of working out quite perfectly for the side of Dragonclaw. And this also meant the only thing that was kind of bad was the fact that because the fight took a little bit of time, they were late to the dragon fight, which at the end they lose the dragon.
Yeah, unfortunately there for DCO, they do lose out on getting that early soul point, like I said earlier, but they still have 2 souls ready, that 2 dragons up, the Hextech and Ocean available. It's going to be a very late Mountain Soul if CBI is indeed able to get it. What are your thoughts? Who does the Mountain Soul benefit more here if it does get to that point?
So I think CBI benefits much more because they will get they have a Bolliver which is opting into the tanky route, so his stats are going to skyrocket with the extra stats from the Mountain Soul. I think that maybe if we get a little bit more tankiness from the Jax or the Nocturne, I can kind of see Dragonclaw getting a lot of benefit as well, but I feel like CBI just immediately benefits much more. And also for the Jinx and the Lulu, against dive potential from the Nocturne and as well from the Jax, it's going to be quite marvelous to have that shield from the Mountain Soul, because it means that they are going to survive much longer, and it allows for the Jinx to get extra shooting time.
Yeah, really quick, I want to shout out chat for giving me the correct pronunciation of some of these players' names. I said it before and I'm going to say it again. I'm terrible with pronunciation. I'm trying. I really am. But I'm it's a work in progress. So, Ojifu is his name. Yeah, Ojifu here is the Xayah, currently with that Phantom Dancer and the Kraken Slayer, looking to be able to go in for, I'd say, a little bit more of a risky build, but still can be effective. Mancy, though, gonna get caught out and will have to flash away from the Chompers to be able to survive that one.
Yeah, so forcing out a flash out of the Nocturne, quite important, because in a team fight situation where the Nocturne wants to engage in, not having that extra tool to maybe follow up onto the Jinx if she flashes away, or to try and escape, it's going to be quite important for Matzy. And I'm kind of curious why he was so deep into the jungle. Like, it's not like you need the vision control so deep into the jungle. Like, it's nice, but it's not mandatory.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point there. Dragon is not up for another minute 53. If you drop a ward at that point, like, it's not necessarily going to matter too much there. But with that being said, we have now Baron not necessarily started, but no vision on the side of CBI to be able to see what's up and what's going on. And he barely gets away from that Tempered Fate. It was like, I jump scared a little bit there, seeing 3 members of DCO in the river, but hey, Snoop Dogg able to get away, and now looking to be able to maybe keep Holy Carrot and the rest of their structures alive. Meanwhile, bottom side, Prince is going to try to go in for some play against Marios and Sigfy. Not going to be able to get away. Shirelli is going to be used, as well as the Ward Leap. Be able to survive that Shirelli as we get a play now in the jungle at Baron. Going to be the magical journey used by Riley. Going to have to flash away, though. Temper Fate is not available, and a lot of damage actually going in on Kosakin, though. As the teleport is now coming through from Prince. He's going to be all alone. He's going to be outmaneuvered potentially by CBI, but the magical journey will be able to keep Riley and Prince out of harm's way for the time being. Counter-Strike used to be able to leap away from that engagement. So a couple of summoner spells used, a couple of ultimates, but all the while, no one going down just yet, but it might not be over. Riley's going to be taking a little bit of damage. Magical Journey's going to get used. Oh my god! Ojafu will fall to Demigod there in those massive rockets with some good follow-up from the rest of their squad. Not only will they be able to get the 4v5 power play, but also the mid tier 1 tower with less than 30 seconds remaining until Dragon spawns.
10 seconds now. And talk about a blunder. You never, and this is something that for nobody, for no Elo bracket can you do this. You can never walk into your lane when there are people in the lane already. Like, you cannot work like that because you're just going to get collapsed on. That was such an, I don't want to say great just because it sounds kind of horrible, but it was a bad mistake out of Ojifu and Relay, and that actually just meant the Dragon completely. The Saya was never in that fight. Also to point out, I really like how they battled off the Baron attempt, particularly because when Marius disengages, he gets into range for his ultimate, and that means that he's already into the team fight in case something happens up in top lane. And it also forces out the teleport from Prince.
Yeah, teleport's now not going to be available for another couple minutes. It will be up for the next Dragon fight, and Kosakin does still have teleport themselves, so they can still go in for some split pushing power, but for the time being, it looks like they do want to open up the rift on top side, and it is going to be Ojifu being able to pick up that tower, that tier 1 now going down, eliminating all of the outer structures for CBI in this game. There is still an outer structure remaining in the bottom lane for DCO, but that could potentially not be long for this world. But for the time being, it's Prince just trying to be able to threaten this side lane. But without teleport, there's not really too much that they can do with that information. Holy Carrot does have the advantage of teleport there, so gonna have to just be some more macro play coming in from both these squads, and we'll see who decides to make the first move.
Yeah, the only worry that I kind of hype for CBI right now is that, like you're pointing out, it's Holy Carrot who will have the teleport to try and play around the pushing lane in the bot lane, but also come into play in case something happens. The problem is that if you leave the Syndra in a 1v1 situation against the Jax, I can pretty much see the Jax just solo killing her. Oh wait, they're engaging this.
Yeah, Kosakin is going to try to get away. Another great shockwave into the Tempered Fate, and now the Paranoia is going to get used. Wild Growth going to be able to knock up Nancy, who's extremely low. Ends up being a 1-for-1 as Ojifu is going to be able to take down Sig, but now Ojifu is going to be in trouble.
Oh no, Kosakin is dead.
Kosakin is going to go golden, but it will be not long for this world, and it ends up being disaster for DCO. A 3-for-1 special in favor. Oh, a 4-for-1 off screen. Holy Carrot is going to drop everything in the kitchen sink against Prince to make it a 4-for-1 play in favor of CBI, and now they have full control of Baron.
Yeah, and so what the game that we were seeing already is out of the window, because now the Baron buff gets obtained, you get so much gold into some of these champions, and this is what I was talking about, what we were talking about before jumping into the game. The windows that some of these players see to try and go for fights. it looked kind of strange. Like, we will see it on the replay when we're jumping into it. But this fight that they were forcing, they forced Oriana into a bad spot. Shockwave looked quite great, but they tried to go for the Syndra, for the Jinx, I mean. They couldn't kill the Jinx. Jinx took so much time to be killed and she didn't even die. The stuns from the Bard were so good, but the Jax could never join this fight compared to the Syndra who already is joining in. But by the time the Jax gets into the fight, which was quite late, it didn't matter. The Jax just comes in to die, which he does. That was such a good window of opportunity that the side of CBI took advantage of, and this is what we were talking about these players, looking for plays that sometimes we don't see.
Yeah, and now looking at, CBI, they've got their hyper carry. Iron 4 Demigod is now in prime position to take control of this game. Kraken Slayer, Infinity Edge, Rapid Fire Cannon, and on top of that, also has the assistance from Mario's with that. Oh my god, Riley!
Oh, he's alive.
Okay, back to what I was saying, though. Obsidian Cleaver and Eclipse already unlocked from Mario's. That Obsidian Cleaver, or Black Cleaver, pardon me, I've been playing too much TFT. Going to be able to pick up that extra armor shred as well, so just gonna be able to continue to support.
Jinx.
As we do get a lot of damage on to Sig, but the Paranoia will be used. Not going to be able to take down Sig, though. A lot of damage thanks to Iron 4 Demigod as a flash forward, gonna go golden. Going to be one shutdown, gonna be two going down against DCO, and CBI are looking to clean this one up. Marios will fall to the tower. Ojifu is still alive, so it ends up being a 4-for-2 play. Ojifu is still alive, though, so it might not be GG, but with Baron up for another minute, they're going to be able to take the inhibitor, and they're going to be able to clean up shop.
Yeah, and then my god was tasting the blood. He saw the Oriana so low, flashed in, but kind of essentially killed himself. But it doesn't matter, they win the fight, they force the inhibitor open, they are still with a gold deficit. But honestly, it doesn't feel like they are with a gold deficit. They are so strong at this point in the game, they will go for the dragon in 15 seconds. The Jinx is not up though, and the Pantheon, well, the Pantheon has Grand Scaffold, so it can be an opportunity for the side of Dragonclaw to maybe get this dragon. But right now, it just feels like CBI is so strong.
And it looks like they are committing resources to it as well. Kozakin's going to teleport forward. Does have Shockwave ready and Flash. Matsy also has Paranoia to be able to go in and maybe be able to clean up something great.
Oh my god, it's here.
But this is a major fight. Baron is still up for about 17 seconds, and I don't know if DCO maybe wants to go for it until that Baron does come off. 10 seconds remaining until Baron comes through, and the fight has begun. Grand Stall Throw is going to be used as well.
No flash for the Jinx.
But it's going to be a lot of damage on a Demi-Forgot. Oh my god! The Shockwaves from Kozakin just continue to get better and better, and they are going to clean up CBI. Mountain Drake will get taken, and 4 members of the CBI squad go down.
Yeah, and that is the setup that we have seen previously from Dragonclaw finally coming to fruition once again. And this is what I wasn't sure if CBI needed to actually force this fight. Like, they were putting themselves into such a good place for the DCO, for Dragonclaw, to get everything that they wanted down. And it just happened. And crucially, Jinx doesn't have Flash, which means that the Temper Fate is much easier to get down. Then the Shockwave is super easy to get down. And you have the Paranoia as well. It was just perfectly layered from Dragonclaw, and it's just such a great teamfight victory. Like, look at that. It's just immediate that it happens.
Yeah, and they started it with Baron up, landing that Temper Fate.
Yeah, it was so well done with the Shockwave from there. Like, and the stun from Jax actually, like, it was so good as well. Getting everyone into the position for the Shockwave, everything just layered into the perfect spot for Dragonclaw to work out. I do want to mention also in that fight, I didn't like the fact that they were waiting for Marius to jump in, but Marius jumps in after everything happens. So kind of just doesn't get a good angle to try to force the teamfight. If he goes in before, I can kind of see the teamfight being better. But with the way that it happened, it just wasn't bound to work out that well for CBI.
I mean, the theme of this game is expect the unexpected, and
like
we are going to see that Paranoia come through. Scatter the Week's going to come in to be able to keep Holy Care alive as well. The Force Unleashed. Matsy is extremely low, but Snoop Dogg will come in to be able to pick up one, and the junglers will go down. Meanwhile, Ojifa is all alone, and Iron 4 Demigod will pick up a big shutdown against the Xayah. Makes it a 2-for-1 trade in favor of CBI.
Yeah, and Xayah, we have seen... Oh, wait. Pantheon. Oh, okay.
There's no way. No way he follows through with this. No way.
he-
No way. Mario's taking a lot of damage, getting slowed. We'll walk away.
Yeah, he took so much damage, and he's not necessarily, he doesn't even have flash, so he's just going to get completely destroyed if he tries to follow up. He also used ultimate previously, so it's not like he can, oh wait, the flashing.
Okay,
Oh,
we
Prince,
got the
there's no
play
ulti
coming
from the
through.
Jet.
Prince is trying to be able to survive. Exhaust gets used, but Holy Carrot will fall. And now Mario's looking to be able to take down Prince, but it's going to be Sig extremely low.
Oh.
Gonna finally get the kill onto the Master at Arms. I'm sorry, the Grandmaster at Arms, but Mux. Prince gonna be able to pick up one there, but I don't know if it really results in too much. 44 seconds remaining until he can use that teleport.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious now watching the Jax die. Is that skin considered to have an actual weapon? Because in his normal he doesn't have, but in that one I think he does, right?
I mean, is it? Is that a lantern? No, that looks like a staff, like a pike.
Looks like a crystal, just a crystal with a staff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so fair enough. I think that, well, if it's like that, then maybe he's not that as strong as we thought.
Yeah, see, imagine if you had a real weapon. He has a real weapon right
And
here.
he
And still
died.
just goes 1 for 1. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. He's not actually a Grandmaster. He's more like a noob or something. But anyway, Dragon is not up for another minute.
Oh, the
43.
ward is not-
Baron gets started, though, and it is on Vision. Paranoia is still available, and the lights will get dropped. Prince is going to come in, going to be hit away from the Counter-Strike, and now the fight has
wait,
indeed
wait.
begun. Temper Fate is going to be Snoop Dogg actually going golden as well as Mario's. Mario's going to try to flash away, and
Mega Death Rocket.
Mega Death Rocket lands a lot of damage on Ojifu and as well as to Prince, who are both extremely low, but it's CBI that is not done with this play just yet. Paranoia is not available. Temper Fate is not available. Shockwave is
Oh,
gone.
the damage
Holy
from
Carrot is
Baron.
extremely low now, but Iron Force
Stop.
Demigod is extremely healthy. Could potentially go in for the heroics and that reset. Grand Starfall is going to get used. The rockets are coming in.
Oh, Ghost
Ghostkinn
King.
gets taken away and outflanking himself.
Look
Prince
at
is going to try to
Demigod.
pick up the kill themselves. I don't believe it. Prince and Ghostkinn are going to be able to take down one. It's going to be a double kill for Iron Force Demigod going golden with that stopwatch, and Riley will use that magical journey to be able to get away themselves. But look at the base. It's going to be a lot of damage potentially from Iron Force Demigod if they are able to get in, but instead of going to end the game, they back off, and they're going to be looking to maybe go in for another fight here in just a bit.
The small differences in that fight. Like, everything could have gone wrong for either team, but it actually doesn't go that bad for either. Like, the Dragon Claw loses 2 members, but it could have been way worse. They also got Snoop Dogg, which will be late for the Baron, for the Dragon fight, but everyone is setting up. And it seems like CBI will be the first there, which is really important to get better positioning and better potential to get this Dragon.
Yeah, Matsy just now alive. No Hex Gates this game, so not going to be able to get there too quickly, but does have the Paranoia to put out the
Dragon.
lights and can use it, but the Dragon will indeed get taken, and the rest of CBI is looking to be able to escape. The Tempered Fate does not land, and yeah, Redrake secured.
Yeah, and maybe the first tier 1 from the bot lane actually finally, oh no, it seems like it's not going to be the case, but yeah, Dragon Soul Point collected for CBI, Mountain Soul. This Bolivar should survive quite a bit, but at the same time, he took so much damage in that fight. Like, he was walking blindly. He's not necessarily the tankiest of champions. He doesn't have huge magic resistance, but he took way too much damage in that fight, and it could have been way worse for CBI if the Bolivar dies immediately. Oh, Demigod.
Yeah, Demigod, I think they are going to be starting Baron up once again, though. This was on Vision, and Ghostkinn is going to be there. Grand Starfall going to try to split up DCO, but Mario's now down to a half HP,
Mario?
going to get feared right into Ghostkinn, but is going to be able to get away. And now the rest
They are
of
trying to finish
DCO
this.
are
Yeah.
looking to flank. The Baron will get taken,
Look
and
at
now
that.
Iron Force Demigod just going to be able to continue to pick up the damage. Meanwhile, though, Prince is going to be looking to be able to go bottom side. Ghostkinn's going to try to stop whatever backs he can, but now Paranoia is going to come through in a 2v3 situation. Stormbringer will get used, and Riley will be able to take down Sig, and the inhibitor will get taken by Prince. So CBI picks up Baron, but it's an inhibitor as the cost.
So yeah, I like that the side of Dragonclaw still tried to force a trade. There wasn't a teleport on the Jack, so he kind of had to force that play to happen. But it's kind of questionable from CBI to not just immediately back. Like, they were trying to cluster between trying to maybe protect some members, but not backing, and then some backing. And at the end, I feel like everyone could just back because they had Baron buff backing, Baron buff back, yeah. So they could have just returned to base immediately. But still, they just lose one inhibitor, one champion. Jinx is still alive, which is what matters the most. You also have your other 4 members that are quite strong. And as long as you have the Jinx for a team fight, you can fight a CBI. But the gold lead is still in favor of Dragonclaw. Look at that from Jax.
Yeah, it's Prince. 17.3, 17,000 gold, though, for Iron 4 Demigod. So it really is a battle between Prince and Iron 4 here in Game 1. Who is going to be able to use their gold most effectively here in these team fights? This is the second Baron for CBI, but mind you, CBI has been trailing DCO by about 3 to 5k gold for a majority of the game. But they have continued to out-rotate DCO at these Barons, picking up their second one at the 35-minute mark. This one will not be up for this Mountain Soul fight. Whoever wins that Mountain Soul is probably going to have the best advantage to win the game. But, I mean, man, first game of the VTS is delivering.
Yep, it's quite good to see. It's so competitive, and it's really close. Like, at this point, 36 minutes in, any fight that you lose can potentially be game because of death timers, because of damage to champions, because of how open the base is. So it's risky situation for both teams. It's not like they can just throw themselves and try and win the game, especially without a sufficient gold lead. And it just feels like we're going to see the next fight be at the next Dragon, which will be so for either team.
And so now, this is the big test here, is, how much can CBI get done with this Baron, and how good are the lane states going to be for them? Because remember, they're the team with the teleport disadvantage. Kosuken and Prince with teleport comparatively to just 1 for Holy Carrot. They need to make sure, especially, that this top lane is in a good wave state. And already, with a minute 17 remaining, Prince is making sure that somebody has to be at that top lane to be able to make sure that he can't push forward into the base.
Yeah, the thing with Prince that he has to be careful about, by the way, is that he can push waves, but if the Pantheon is the one responding to him, and the Pantheon has its own vicinity or its own vision to see the Jax, he can stop the teleport. And if that happens, that can be an immediate turnaround teamfight win for CBI. That's something that he needs to be careful about. I'm surprised they are not just sending Holy Carrot to clear waves in top lane, since Holy Carrot has teleport as well. But it must be something that they are really afraid of, the Jax just solo killing the Syndra like we have seen previously. Smoke Dunk, careful.
Gonna be able to go in for those fears there as
Ulti out.
Yeah, Shirelia's does get used. Temper Fate is going to come in, and now Teleport is going to come through from Prince as well. Temper Fate used, Paranoia used, and it's a massive Shockwave once again into a massive team fight for DCO. It is just Shockwave after Counter-Strike after Shockwave after Counter-Strike. DCO out fighting CBI in these team fights are going to take game 1.
Yeah, and it's the late game situation where a mistake can cost you the game. And they saw the opportunity to go for the Saya, but when the re-engage was happening, the Jinx has to flash. She has flash, she had cleanses still. If she just flashes and the Tempered Fate and cleanses the Jax, maybe there's a better chance for her to try and survive, but she simply was completely destroying the fight. She didn't do any damage. Koskinen with another massive Shockwave winning, and I'm kind of baffled that there wasn't a fight for the Dragon. They just tried to opt into a fight previously, and more times than less, I've seen the team that forces that fight lose the game. So it just ends up happening quite obviously, and credit to Dragonclaw. Really nice way of winning this game.
Yeah, I mean, just really phenomenally done there from Dragonclaw Ocean. And what I really have to laud them for is their laning zone control, right? Like, all of the crucial team fights that they played were either, in mid lane or in the river. There was no choke point fight where the Shockwave has the best chance of getting those multi-man plays. It was in the river or in the mid lane where you see Prince go in with a great counter-strike, Shockwave landing onto multiple members, and them just being able to out-communicate Infusion in these really pivotal team fights. Well, I'll give CB Infusion, they felt like at neutral objectives, they were able to, hold their own. They were the ones that were at Dragon first. They were the ones that were pressuring Baron first. But they get outplayed in these, crucial teamfight mechanics, and they give Dragonclaw Ocean the 1-0 opportunity to be able to go in for this 2-0 series win potentially. But I mean, What a series. I think we got some more talk about it as well. Man, holy moly. Holy moly. Becky Rita was saying it in chat, and I gotta capitalize upon it. Holy moly, what a game one.
Yeah, it just at least it delivered in a way that maybe we didn't expect, especially with our predictions. So it's certainly looking. I'm looking forward to that second game and to what the teams can improve on. One thing that I wanna point out for from the side of Dragon Claw, it's Koskinen playing in the mid lane because it really felt like he just knew what to do in a lot of those instances. His shockwaves always hitting the right targets or in the right moments, finding the right value. And I feel like it's a player that we need to keep our eyes on, especially going into that second game, because that mid lane prowess that Dragon Club showcased can be a point that they can play on for the next game.
Exactly. And you know what a phenomenal game one. If that is what
Yep.
the talent is bringing to the table here at this series and in the VTS, we are in for a phenomenal season. We're going to take a quick break though before we jump into game number 2. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you guys shortly.
Welcome back, everybody! We are here for game 2 of the series between CB Infusion and Dragon Claw Ocean. Dragon Claw Ocean took the first match going against all of our predictions here, except I don't know if I didn't give a game score. I don't remember if you gave a game score, Moose, but TDS predicted 1 win for Dragon Claw. So we're getting a 3-game series if you're gonna be correct, TDS. But
If I'm
otherwise,
right, yes.
yeah, that first match there. Oh my goodness, that was an exciting game of League of Legends right there. It seemed like
Yep.
every fight after 25 minutes was on just was on a knife's edge, where one misplay, one misstep, one flash forward ends the game for your team. And those kind of games, they're exciting for viewers, but man, are they stressful from a player perspective. And you got to consider the mindsets going into game 2 here. You got to reset and you got to get back to the drawing board and figure out what you did wrong and then try to adapt for this next match. So I want to start with you. TDS. What do you think we should let? What do you think that Dragon Claw? Or let's go with CB. What do you think a CBI needs to do to pull the series back in their favor? What do they need to maybe look to do in draft or in the games themselves?
So I think to attack that, I think we need to talk about, like you were talking about, the mindset, because I've always been of the belief that losing a stomp is much better than losing in a super close game, because you get the idea that, okay, it's fine, we can reset and come back later on. But in this is, we were so close, we were so damn close, and we lose that. Like, it's so hard. It stays on the mind of the player, and I feel like that's why, looking into this next game, I feel like for CBI they need to get comfort first and foremost, and an easy to execute plan, like something like quite like Dragon Claw did. Because yes, there seems to be champions that are kind of hard to pull off, right? Because Nocturne and Jax are not your easy to execute champions. But the whole idea of the team composition that they had was easy to execute. It's press R, press R, press R, press R. There you go. That's it. So if CBI can get something similar in this game, then it would be quite ideal for them. I feel like they almost had something like that in their first game composition, but if they can get something even easier than that, like something even better in the top lane, for example, and easier to execute top laner, that would be quite ideal as well.
All right, and for Dragon Claw Moose, what do you think that this roster needs to do to continue pushing their advantage here? Because, to be quite honest, the game was slipping out of their grasp, and it took a heroic play and a heroic misplay from the side of CBI to really clutch that one out. So what does Dragonclaw need to do in this next game to secure the series for themselves?
I think they had some decent macro play. I harken back to the play from Prince, being able to go back to that inhibitor and take that bottom lane inhibitor, take it for for Baron to be able to get something out of that. But I think what I'm looking for from Dragonclaw in order to keep that momentum going is just, I think, really strong macro play, playing off of your teleport really accurately, and making sure that you don't get into a situation where you're kind of awkward. I felt like in some of those team fights, they were maybe kind of outpositioned at the neutral objectives, and they didn't know when and where to press the go buttons. The team fights that CBI was able to win, it was team fights that they played on their terms. So I think, as long as Dragonclaw Ocean is able to initiate fights that they wanted, or play their mechanics the correct way, I think they got themselves a really good chance of being able to take game 2. But don't count CBI. That was a really count out CBI, I should say. That was a really strong game 1. Very, very close. And I mean, it could have gone either way. I think, for me at least, like, I feel a little bamboozled because Kosakin, the Oriana from last game, comes
True.
in, and I'm looking him up now. Master player, has a ton of mid lane games opportunities and a lot of good experience. So
Oh.
highest rated player. in this tournament coming in for Dragonclaw Ocean, which really changes the dynamic here for both these squads.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
changes the dynamic for sure. But I believe we are ready to jump into draft. So we'll have to see what these teams will take from if they're obvious. Maybe they're watching the broadcast, maybe they're not. We'll see what these teams can go into this next game with. Will Dragonclaw be able to secure out a 2-0 victory to start their season, or will CBI claw their own way back into the series and look to tie it up and maybe take it in game 3? We got to get through game 2 first to see the results of that. So I'll throw it over to you two for draft. Go ahead and take it away and take us through this next exciting game.
Yep, it's going to be a fun one for sure, and let's jump into it. Draft has indeed begun, and my big question was, what is CB Infusion going to ban out from that first series? And they're keeping the Orianna open, but they ban out the Nocturne. Matsy now having the opportunity to maybe go for the Viego pick, maybe a couple of other different picks that he has at his disposal, but they're not saying that it was the Volibear that was the problem. They're gonna B1 it once again.
Yeah, and I can kind of stay with that logic. I feel like the Volibear wasn't really the problem. I'm still much more on the side that with an easier to execute top lane, it's probably much easier. And the fact that there was just a couple of misplays here and there that could probably just change everything from happening. But I like the Volibear, just like in the previous game, early game prowess, quite a nice tank to have. And his engages weren't necessarily that bad. Like, he was bursted out sometimes, but his engages weren't necessarily that bad. One thing that I quickly want to comment on before we just keep on going into draft: red side once again for Dragonclaw, blue side once again for CB Infusion, which means that top lane counter pick once again for Dragonclaw. This Wukong doesn't mean that it's going to be in the top lane. Now Wukong can be a jungler, which means that this could be a potential flex pick between top lane and jungle, and I would really like to see Matsy taking it in the jungle.
Yeah, I mean, Wukong was one of the first champions that I mained way back in Season 2. It has a soft spot in my heart to see it available and used in high level play. And it's going to be paired up quite nicely with Ojifu's Xayah. The ability to be able to get that Cyclone into the root from after the Featherstorm to be able to go in for just massive damage off of that is definitely going to be impactful. And you're also building what could potentially be a great ball delivery system as well. So looking to see what else Dragonclaw is going to bring to the table, especially in this R3 pick. Do they decide to go for the support, or do they want to confirm that Orianna to make sure that it doesn't get banned out? CB Infusion, though, they're going for a completely different look. The Lucian locked in to potentially get Sig to go on a really strong champion for them. They can go for the Karma, they can go for the Nami, a really strong pairing, and that's what it's going to be for game 2.
So I was thinking of the potential to go for the Lucian AD carry, Lucian mid lane or AD flex if you don't pick the support just yet. But I think that this pretty much says that it's going to be a support Nami and a Lucian AD carry. Like, this bot lane duo is so strong. There's still a potential for a flex, but the bot lane duo is so strong. And I liked it, because in the previous game it was a bit of not push against the Xayah and we don't push against you in the form of the Jinx. So it was just a neutral lane that not really much happened. But this time around it's going to be aggressiveness from the Lucian and the Nami, and it's answered by a Renata Glask, something that I feel like I haven't seen in a while. It started being super popular, and I feel like with time it kind of fell over. Like, just a certain amount of players kept playing the champion, kept using her, and it's because her way of playing is much different than normal enchanters, but also doesn't fit quite well with what you would expect from a engaged support, right? So it's just in between, and if you are not proficient on the champion, it can be quite difficult to perform with the champion.
And I'm really curious to see if we do actually get a really impactful Renata hostile takeover with the chance to change the game really in no way that any other ultimate can. But for now, at least, with all the Renata that I have seen so far, I have yet to see a Renata Glass be able to pop off with it yet. It always seems to be that, that really weak early lane that ends up getting punished. You're not able to get to a point where you're in a decent spot mid-game because you've given too many kills over to your lane opponent, and this could potentially be very bullied out by CB Infusion. Snoop Dogg, Holy Carrot, and Mario's can... I'm sorry, not Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg, Iron 4 Demigod, and Sig... Pardon me, I'm reading and looking and just
Yeah,
two
it
things at
happens.
once. But they could potentially really bully this bottom lane out, and it's gonna take some good effort, and I'm looking to see if they're gonna be able to make it happen. Camille and Fiora once again getting banned out away from
Insta
Prince,
pick.
but it's gonna be Holy Carrot getting banned out here in the second wave of bans. The Ari and the Syndra getting taken away as Akali gets locked in for Kozuken, I believe.
Yeah, so a pretty sad condition that we have seen from the previous game into this game in terms of bans, but the Akali was left open, it gets picked instantaneously, and it can still be a flex, like it can go top lane or mid lane because
Right,
we
yeah.
don't know yet where the Wukong is going. So I like that they are playing with this flex potential. It goes well with the idea of following up onto the Wukong inside of team fight, and looking at now the top lane from the other side, it's Cho'Gath on the top lane, a champion that we haven't seen much from. He's a good tank, he can clear waves quite nicely, and he doesn't die consistently. But on the other side, with the Brand also getting picked, I like that you get the wave clear, but Brand mid has been out of meta for so long. Like, I like the champion. I feel like it can be really niche, but you really need to perform with it.
Yeah.
Ooh, an Irelia.
Boy. Yeah. Prince has a lot of experience with Aurelia, very similar to what he's been able to bring to the table with the Jax, but
This is deadly.
holy moly, this Dragonclaw Ocean team, they are playing to win, and they are looking to be very, very aggressive with their picks, especially as we move into the mid game. Which tells me, I'm really looking for CB Infusion to take the reins of this game, get into the driver's seat very early on, and not let that snowball for Dragonclaw get started.
Yeah, this to me, this Dragonclaw composition screams mid and late game killing potential. Like that's how I feel. And a lot also of short team fighting prowess, because they really excel when team fights are between 1 to 5 seconds, short team fights where their ultimates are super valuable, because when the team fights became longer, CB Infusion just becomes much better. You have the continuous damage from the Lucian with the buffing up of the Nami, that the longer that it goes, the better that the Lucian feels. You have a strong tank frontline in the form of the Cho'Gath and the Bolivar, which can survive for a long period of time, and that means that they are going to be quite well in the long run. And then you also have the Brand that deals consistent enough damage as well in the form of magic damage, and being the sole magic damage dealer is quite nice. Now, this is something I completely not expect at all if this is going to be the formation, but it's quite interesting. I think the first time that I've seen a Nami Brand bot lane, and I'm actually excited to see how it works out.
Yeah, I mean, we'll make sure that it is going to be the Brand Nami, but it does feel a little sad because you do lose that really strong synergy that Lucian Nami does provide in the early game. And I mean, maybe it's you're looking at Ojifu and Riley and seeing that they maybe don't have that same early game power as the 2v2 to be able to pick up the kills, which gives time for Iron 4 Demigod to kind of ramp up a little bit. So it does kind of worry me that you do get rid of that synergy, but you do get a decent matchup in the mid lane. Lucian versus Akali, that's going to be a really fun one. And it's going to be a big test for Infusion to see if they can actually get this Lucian off the ground running. Once you hit level 7, 8, 9, like, you're off to the races, and you got the chance to be able to level up a lot quicker in the mid lane than you do in the bottom lane. So I'm looking to see CB Infusion off to the races immediately, ramp up super quickly, and just dictate a very aggressive tempo to get to a point where Dragonclaw Ocean they're never able to get off of the landing pad and take flight.
Yep, that would be the most ideal way for CB Infusion to play this game. Like, if you're gonna snowball the Lucian, the Lucian and the Bolivar early on, like that two-man squad for the mid game can be quite deadly. And at the strongest point for Dragonclaw, which I would think it's going to be the mid game, where they get 1.5 items for the Akali, the Irelia, and the Wukong, then they can actually respond quite well, because they would have the prowess from the Brand, as well as just immense damage from a that Lucian and a Bolivar that will be tanky enough. I feel like that's how they need to play, because if not, if the game goes even into mid game or into late game as well, I can see just Dragonclaw running over with this game with the amount of damage they can deal and the easiness that they have to access a backline, because even though Cho'Gath and Bolivar are quite a nice front line to have, they don't have a lot of disengage measures or in itself like peeling ways to try and protect your backline. And in that case, like a Calvi and Wukong from a flank can just easily destroy you.
So, I am super excited to see how this game is going to be played out. I want to see a game 3 because game 1 was so entertaining, and I really just want to see, this best of 1 come out in game 3. So, with CB Infusion, then I guess my prediction here for game 2, I want to see a Hextech Soul. I want to see a Hextech Rift, Hextech Soul dictate or really accelerate the pace of the game with those Hex Gates. What are your predictions Soul-wise for game 2? You'll take Infernal?
Yeah, Infernal Soul. Let's go for it. A huge amount of damage for huge damage dealers in both teams. I'm kind of in favor of that.
For sure. Yeah, chat, let me get your guys' Dragon Soul predictions for game number 2 as well as your game 2 predictions. Use those points, see if you guys can get them back and more with a correct choice here. But man, what a game 2 that we're gonna get. It's gonna be a banger of a game for already a banger of a series. Definitely do not go anywhere. We are in the spectator delay. We are ready to get ourselves started for game number 2, but we're gonna take a quick break before we get that started. See you guys shortly. Welcome back, everybody. Game number 2 here in the Victoris Triumph series has indeed begun. CBI, they are looking to be able to keep their chances of getting a flawless season intact, but DCO is looking to be able to make the clean sweep happen. My name is Moose, and I'm joined here at the desk by TDS, and what do you know? It is no Ghost Smite Volibear in Game 2.
Yeah, he was fast, but he died quite quickly. So I feel like the Flash is just to not die as quickly as possible as well. And I'm quite in favor of the Flash. It also allows you to just cap closing immediately. Like the Ghost is quite nice, but you get immediate cap closing potential with the Flash, so it's nice to have it. I also want to point out quickly, mid lane Lucian with the Thunderdor, I still call it Thunder, Electrocute. It's to just deal enough damage to burst out the champion. The problem here is that if you're not able to kill the champion on time, you're going to get quite affected. Also, quickly to mention, it is Nembra once again. It is actually Nembra this time. So maybe the mid div is not as prevalent as it was the previous game.
Yeah, it is interesting to see, the subs kind of being used, I think, to full effect here. Shout out to the coaches, I guess, maybe being able to see an opportunity to be able to take a game 1 victory. Of course, we don't know exactly the logistics of that, but regardless of that, going to be a really good game and going to be a really fun one to see if DCO is going to be able to take that 2-0 victory. Pointing out as well, Holy Carrot is going to go for that Flash Exhaust. So once again, it is a 2 teleport game for DCO. The longer that the game goes on, the more impactful those 2 teleports can indeed become. And allowing for that split pushing to be even more impactful, because Nemra, really strong split push with that Akali potentially.
Yeah, and quickly speaking about the jungle that we are seeing right now, to try and keep up with it, at red buff stolen the birds as well, potentially the rocks as well. So a lot of the jungle caps from the Bolivar are getting stolen, and there was such a good vision potential to keep up, to see what was on the enemy jungle, to stop the Bolivar from doing the same. I really like how the Dragonclaw just set this up. The Bolivar is so far behind right now. Like we have the bug of the inventory, but it's so good. Oh, engage.
Yeah, Handshake's gonna be used. He's gonna be in trouble. Flash first blood.
What an early game.
Gonna be Matsy. Starting off strong here for DCO.
What a nerdy game by Dragonclaw. Like I'm pretty sure they're not going to give the kill away here. It does mean that they can just try and take away something from the Wukong, but in reality it's not possible. Like the bot lane is collapsing, the Wukong is level 3 with the red buff, and even if the Lucian comes in, the Akali can also kind of come into play. So this is just such a bad situation for CBI. Like they cannot respond in any way. The only thing that they can do is try and get the top lane Scuttlecrab and the red buff from the Wukong, but I feel like there's not going to be enough time.
Yeah, and this is what's really worrisome here for me here for CBI. Like I was talking in draft, they need to be the one to dictate a very aggressive pace of the game. And Matsy, DCO, they made such a crucial decision at the very beginning of this game to deny any sort of early aggression potentially. And just being able to make that happen and not getting punished for it at all is definitely really well done. It's going to be a late red take there from Snoop Dogg, so he will still at least get that double buff, and now we'll be looking to maybe going for the 1v1 against Matsy. A difficult 1v1, but the clone will be able to keep Matsy alive, and they're still looking to be able to maybe make something happening here. Matsy's going to get slowed, but is going to get smited. Doesn't have the stun ready for Snoop Dogg, and now with Prince on the way, they're looking to be able to get the smite themselves. Going to be taking a lot of damage on the Snoop. Prince is going to take an early and easy kill. Thank you for the red buff, and we'll take a flash on the way out.
The disrespect out of a Snoop Dogg in that play to just try and keep on fighting without knowing where the Aurelia was. And he should essentially know that the Aurelia was backing, because he saw, or he knows, the top laner should have told him that the Aurelia flashed away and she was backing. So that play was pretty much, you should have been able to guess what was going to happen if you commit so hard. And he commits, but gets immediately punished. Ooh, Ojifu.
Yeah, Ojifu is in trouble, going to get shielded there from Riley, who does have the loyalty program there, and going to be able to keep Ojifu alive, not even needed, in order to make sure that an easy kill goes up against Sig.
Everything is going Dragonclaw's way, and if not for the fact that the Bolivar gets back the red buff, it would have been a complete disaster of an early game for the side of CBI. It's still quite manageable. They do have at least an advantage on the mid lane, or a small equality on the mid lane, which is not the best, but this game is going so out of control. So already such a huge gold lead in favor of Dragonclaw, and we talked about this. Their mid game is going to be so good. So the fact that they are so weak right now, it's actually quite bad.
Yeah, I mean, the earlier that you get these earlier power spikes for Ojifu and for Prince to be able to get to that first item, and even Nemra, level 6 now, having that perfect execution available, the longer or the earlier that you're able to get to those spikes, you're able to accelerate into the mid game for yourself. And now CBI just doesn't have any opportunity to be able to respond because they're going to have to wait until very late game to potentially get the extra health stacking from Mario's, the Holy Carrot being able to get to 4 or 5 items to be super impactful. And he's building into resistances. He's so nervous about potentially getting hit by some early plays that he picks up that Hex Drinker, which means that Mythic item is going to be far behind. It's going to take much longer for him to get online. So already really excited to see what DCO has brought to the table, and they know, I think, that they've got this game, I think, under control.
Yeah, like the way that DCO just needs to play this is just get a little bit more time, just get some items, get your first mythic, and the game just should be quite nice for you. I do want to say that the Hex Drinker is not the worst of buys, just because it does give you a lot of resistance, and right now Hex Drinker does give you lifesteal as well, so it can allow for you to get buy in lane quite a bit and also survive a lot of the trade. So I feel like for the value, the gold that you spend on it, the value is quite high. But it is, as you said, it delays the mythic quite a bit. And if you're behind, you don't really want to delay your mythic at all.
Yeah, and you bring up a really good point there. Is a Hex Drinker does work out really, really well against Nemra. You get that extra shield, you get the lifesteal, you get everything that you would be looking for as a marksman in the mid lane. And you're CSing at least nicely up against him as well. You have a CS advantage, you've kept control of your lane, and you haven't given Nemra any dark steel sacks yet, looking to be able to use them, and you also take out the teleport without using exhaust. So you do feel a little bit bad that you had to use your flash, which denies a lot of that early kill potential, but there's still hope for them, and definitely do not count CBI out, as Prince now maybe going to be in trouble here. Going to be a 2v1 situation. Vanguard's Edge does not land, but Prince is going to be looking to be able to dance their way out of this play, and actually looking to be able to take some time away from Mario's and Snoop Dogg's. Very nicely executed there in that 2v1 from Mox Prince.
So I think for Prince, I would feel quite sad, because if he actually connects the ultimate, you get a kill. If he connects the ultimate, I 100% believe that he gets a kill in that situation. Oh wait, he used the smite.
Yeah, Smite already used Mats. He's going to be able to take it, but doesn't quite have level 6 yet. Meanwhile, though, a lot of damage on Mario's got to flash away, and now Nemra is coming through. Does have the flawless execution available. Is going to dash away over the wall. Yeah. Oh my god! Prince is actually able to get vision using Flashbang, actually able to secure that kill against Mario's, and now 4-1 actually, as Sig able to pick up the kill against Ojifu.
So our producer talked about that interaction. I actually didn't know that the interaction was like that, but it's actually pretty fun to see. They get the kill thanks to the interaction between Nami and Bran to just pop up the Nami damage. They get the kill down in bot lane, so a positive sign for CBI. They get a kill back at least. The problem is that look at the kills in the play. Look at where the kills are from the side of Dragonfall. 2 on Irelia, 1 on Wukong. Yes, Akali gets 0, but it doesn't matter. Like, she's farming, so she's fine. She's even ahead of the Lucian.
Yeah, and now, like, what does Mario's do in this situation? He's just a big dinosaur.
Survive.
Yeah, even if he goes for the feast, like I don't know if he can actually take the feast, as we get to take a look at that replay down here in the bottom.
Yeah, and we can see just how the setup is working out. Like, it's just a hit from the Q from the Brand, and then I feel like, if I'm not wrong, it's the ultimate. No, the ultimate was already used. It's just the E. Yeah, it's just the E with the healing from Evan Flow from the Nami, and then popping up the Electrocute, and she just dies. Like, it's such a damning passive to work against with the Brand and the Nami. But for the Xayah, there was barely anything that the Xayah could have done. Still, it's an advantage from Dragonclaw that they can make the most out of. And unless they get dive in this play, which the Bolivar is posturing potentially for that down there, it shouldn't be that damning for the Saya either.
Yeah, look and see Metzi as well. Level 7 has that level advantage thanks to being able to not only get the Gromp, but then also more camps. Gonna be stolen away, that blue buff maybe, but Cyclone now used. Snoop Dogg is gonna be in trouble. Stormbringer is gonna come in and Metzi will flash. But it's the Stormbringer and Iron 4 Demigod able to take down the Monkey King, and that's gonna be CBI. Gonna be able to outplay there, and the flash stun onto Riley. Going to be able to pick up their second kill in this exchange. Ends up bringing it back to within 400 gold here at the beginning of this game.
So it's nice to try and go for a play right there, but the problem is that they are fighting on their side that has barely any gold. Like, Ojifu and Rayleigh and Embra are not that strong. If you played around Prince in that fight, if that was a fight with Prince on your side, I think Dragonclaw wins at 100% of the time. But you're playing with Wukong with your weakest side of the map and you're trying to go for a play, it just feels like it's not going to work out. And at the end, it doesn't. They punish the Wukong, they get the ulti, the flash from the Akali, and the flash from the Wukong as well. And they just get a really nice bounce back advantage to just close the gold gap. Right now, it's just 300 gold in favor of Dragonclaw, which was much less than it was previously.
Yeah, it was looking a little scary there for DCO, but they do bring it back with that influx of gold going back over to Iron 4 Demigod and the rest of CBI. Getting the kills where you need them most as well. You're able to get money onto Iron 4 Demigod. Snoop Dogg able to get some gold as well, so is going to be able to be back somewhat relevant here. The only question and the only concern that we have now is what can they do with this information? What can they do with this influx of gold? And are they going to be able to stop DCO from continuing that snowball? Because for now, Hextech Drake is up. There is still a little bit of a gold advantage, and it's DCO that knows that they've got time on their side.
Yeah, the problem is that Dragonclaw... Oh, wait. Whoa.
Okay, hold that thought, though. Power Plant is going to be used, and it's going to be a 1-for-1 so far. Oh, my God. A massive tidal wave there from Sig is going to be able to get 4 members into it, and that's 2 down for DCO. Iron 4 Demigod is in trouble as Nemra will use Perfect Execution to be able to pick up 1 against Demigod. Matzi is also extremely low. Snoop Dogg will be able to pick up that kill, and now Mario is looking to be able to get that feast and the damage onto Riley. There's the nom, and DCO is going to once again kind of falter, going to give a dragon over to CBI.
Yeah, so it was all over the place with that fight. I don't know how it happened, but Ojifu started the fight dying, and that's so crucial to happen because he didn't even ulti, he didn't even flash, and I think with the replay we can see quite well how everything kind of went bad. Although, wait a second, no. We can see in the replay how kind of everything went bad, and it allowed for the side of CBI to collect the teamfight win and then the dragon. Like, it starts with quite a nice play to try and get the kill. The problem is that Prince dies. Like, Prince essentially dies. Oh, that is so unlucky. That's actually so sad. If Prince dies there, the Saya dies alone without flashing or using ultimate, and the fight already seems quite bad. Like, the fact that Nemra salvages the situation with a kill back is quite good, because it was just looking quite damning for Dragon. And we've yet to see the team fight potential that we were expecting, because it's not yet the strongest point of mid game. Like, the Wukong doesn't have a first item completed. Saya doesn't have an item yet either, and I think that the Akali just completes the item with that team fight that she gets. No, she doesn't even have it. So yeah, she's not that strong either.
Yeah, and so now DCO, like, they kind of give up their early game advantage, and we get to see that play coming through here for CBI. They're able to pick up not only that dragon, and it is going to be Mountain Drake for game 3, so no, or game 2, so no Hextech Soul, unfortunately. But hey, still going to be Mountain Soul 2 in a row, though. 2 in a row, actually. Yesterday as well. I was casting yesterday, and I ended up casting 2 Mountain Drakes in a row there as well. So maybe a correlation for this week. Regardless, gonna be good for CBI to be able to get back on track. They're able to pick up their first gold lead of the game. And I mean, the big burning question for me is this enough for CBI to be able to take this win, or do you still think the advantage is for CBO at the moment?
So I don't think there's yet a clear advantage for either team. Like, Dragonclaw has a nice way of playing the game in the mid game, and if they get a good team fight in the mid game, which we're already in, if they get a nice teamfight win in the mid game, then they can just snowball out of control. But the same can be said kind of for CBI.
Okay, Prince is gonna try to flash away, gonna get the stun.
Is he
Holy
gonna
Carrot's
multi?
gonna be taking a lot of damage. Vanguard
Oh,
is gonna get
he couldn't
used,
do it.
and now Nemra is coming in, looking to try to be able to clean this up. Holy Carrot is the target first, gonna be able to get it, but can't quite get any more just yet. Nemra's gonna be in trouble, but now Match is gonna come forward with a Cyclone. Meanwhile, bottom side, Iron for Demigod with a double kill. So it's going to be a double kill in the bottom lane for Iron 4 Demigod, barely though, and a double kill for Nemra up against Snoop Dogg and Holy Carrot. But overall, across the Rift, it's a 3-for-2 play in favor of CBI.
Yeah, and I feel once again, Prince almost plays that makes it happen. And with the outplay, with the replay, we will see quite well. I do want to touch quickly on the bot lane as well before while we're looking in the replay, because the bot lane play, they used both ultimates already. There's no flashes like we can see, and there's no heal either. So it's just like it's so hard for both for people and Vega to play, and it's just so easy. Like yes, Brand almost dies, but the setup for the side of CBI is so easy to execute and so nice that it's almost impossible to fail at that point. And they get both kills, they salvage a good situation, or actually trade quite well because they, if I'm not wrong, they trade positively 3-for-2, and they keep the gold lead in their favor.
Yep, 3-for-2 play there, 500 gold advantage for CBI. They also pick up some crucial mythic items in the process as well. Gale Force unlocked for Holy Carrot, as well as the Frostfire Gauntlet, and then the Luden's Tempest for Iron 4 Demigod. That's going to be a big, massive influx of damage for this brand. Be able to get that good magic penetration, as well as the splash damage that he's going to be just doing regularly there. But not going to be an advantage too aggressively for CBI. They have to worry about the plays potentially coming in.
Bye-bye.
Oh my god. That's a weak Renata Glass. 17 minutes into the game just gets popped.
Yeah, and I'm actually quite glad that we get to see that. Oh, Jifu, he's dead.
Yeah, Jifu's going to use a Feather Storm, but it's just going to fall. Sig is going to go on a killing spree, going to be able to pick up his second kill in this exchange, and now Matzi will fall as well. Iron 4 Demigod is on a killing spree, and DCO end up destroying their early game advantage, and CBI, the snowball has indeed begun.
Yeah, and importantly, even the flashing.
Oh my god, Nemra flashing away from the Searing Hand is able to pick up a great highlight kill there against Iron 4, but still gonna end up salvaging a play, but not getting a positive play for DCO.
Yeah, and I do want to point out as well, the teleport from the Irelia was cancelled by the Cho'Gath, and that's why we didn't see the teleport end up getting completed or get something out of the other side of the map. But if I'm honest, if I'm a brand, I can assure you that I would 100% almost never ult-team like that. Like, you're against an Akali. You need to understand that you can get killed quite easily. And the Cho'Gath collects the dragon. He essentially just threw away his top-lane stay because the Irelia was going to kill him, but he collects another stack for the ultimate, which is quite nice. And with the Herald, maybe they can get this mid lane turret. Maybe not.
Yeah, going to be able to get the headbutt, but not much else more than that. Prince is just going to be able to get free time up here in the top lane, though. Just going to continue to scale up nicely, and we'll look to pick up that tower and the gold that comes with it relatively soon, but maybe overstaying a little bit here. Gonna take 3 turret shots for their effort, and now gonna maybe be in trouble. No Predator from Snoop Dogg, but he does have the chance to be able to go for the stun. Gonna try to be able to get away. Prince is able to bait out the Stormbringer, but there's no way that Prince survives that one, and that's a killing spree for Marios.
This is such a different game from the previous one. CBI just has a lot of control over what happens in the map. The Dragonclaw is just kind of throwing themselves into the fire after they are not longer strong enough. Like, they were really strong at the start of the game. They threw a little bit of their lead, then they threw again a little bit of their lead, and they came back into a neutral spot. And now it's CBI, which is really, really strong. And the Irelia, the Wukong, and the Akali have not yet found themselves together to try and force a fight. It's always a fight without numbers advantage, and they are just simply so weak. Like, look at that. The Saya cannot do anything at all. I really don't like this decision, by the way.
Tidal Wave is gonna get used, gonna be able to pop out Featherstorm from Ojifu, but you know, that power and that damage is gonna be enough to, or the threat of that damage is gonna be enough for them to step back and let Iron 4 Demigod be able to pick up that mid lane tower. Another structure going down. Right now it is a 1 tower advantage for CBI and a 2k gold lead So they're continuing to hold on to the driver's seat, but it is definitely tenuous at best. If DCO is able to find a good team fight like they were in game 1, they could very easily swing the gold back into their favor.
Yeah, it can happen quite perfectly, but I touched a little bit on this when we were watching the turret fall down, but I really don't like the Kraken Slayer on the Saya, just to say, because I feel like you really don't need to check the frontliners. Like, you need to survive by yourself, and with a Gale Force, you can do that much better, but this is essentially just depending on your positioning, your flash, and your ultimate to survive, and we've seen time and time again that you cannot put yourself into a bad spot because you're getting popped up immediately. And I feel like that's a mistake by the Saya, by Ojifu in that regard.
Yeah, speaking of other stuff, Marios, though, is going to be in trouble. Gonna have to flash away, but Prince wants the kill and is going to try to secure the 1-for-1. Gonna dash forward, Marios. Yes, he does. That is a 600 influx of gold there for the DCO top laner, Mox Prince. And I have that Blade of the Rune King and is looking to be able to go in for that second one. Ojifu is extremely scared and will try to run away from Iron 4 Demigod. He will be able to do so, but the fight is not over yet. It's going to be Nemra coming through. Holy Carrot is going to be left all alone, and Matsy will pick up one. Prince is on the other side of that fight all alone. Riley going to try to flash forward, not going to have the hostile takeover land too much damage quite yet, but Nemra with the double kill. This is the team fight that I was talking about, and DCO are looking to clean it up. They can't do it, but Snoop Dogg gonna have to use Stormbringer to get away, and the pings are headed towards Baron.
Are they going to try and get and rush Baron against a Cho'Gath and a still alive jungler? Like, that is such a bet, a really risky bet to take, and Prince doesn't have teleport either, which means that he cannot join this fight. This is risky. They can get a kill at least if they turn around immediately, but I don't think they're disengaging. This is way too risky, and Cho'Gath can just steal this without actually dying, so it's way, way, way too risky.
Oh yeah, like, you know, DCO, I think, getting a little too ambitious there. Definitely an egregious play to try to go for Baron, but hey, it's an attempt. It forces Marios to go top side, which means that these minions and that wave is going to continue to push bottom side there with no response quite yet. Dragon spawning in 35 seconds, and so now it's up to DCO to take that momentum from that last fight and continue to keep it going. Yeah,
Dragon will lose position. Oh wait, Nembra, he needs to be careful. They are trying to pile on him on the side, and I think they saw him. They saw that some of the members from CBI were on inside of the enemy of their own jungle, which means that they should be ready for this fight. Ooh.
Yeah, Prince is going to be there, but Nemra is not part of the battle. Gonna be a little bit of damage on the Matsy, though, and he is extremely low. Riley's gonna be the target and is going to use the loyalty program just to get a loyalty program back to the fountain. Ojifu is kind of caught out of position there. Nemra is not really there, and that was a really awkward play coming in from DCO, but now they're looking to be able to clean it up. Nemra's going to try to flash more, going to use the perfect execution, going to try to deal what damage he can, but is now extremely low himself, going to try to black away. That's going to be able to pick up one. It's a double kill for Memrise. He's going to be able to walk back. Ojifu and Memra are still alive, but it's a double kill for Snoop Dogg, or for Matsy, as Holy Carrot is going to be able to pick up one. Ojifu is going to be falling, as it ends up being a very chaotic and awkward exchange. Dragon gets taken from DCO, but 3 for 4 in favor of CBI.
Yeah, so I think that for Dragon Claw, this is way, way, way better than what they can expect, because yes, it was a 4-4-3, but we need to remind ourselves that it was a 4v5. That fight started with Renata dying, which means that them being able to get the better out of the fight was quite crucial. And we see how the fighting started. They get such a nice attempt onto Matsy and then onto Riley. I want to point out as well, quite important, for that fight, yes, they get the pick onto Riley, but it meant the flash and the ultimate for the Brand. So that means that he doesn't have an escape, and when the fight happens, Brand is forced into a tough spot inside of the Dragon. Look at that, he cannot escape, he doesn't have ultimate, so he dies. He's not necessarily dealing the most damage, and he dies quite easily. They also get such a huge ultimate here by the Wukong to get the stun onto both the Lucian and the Brand, and they were able to push away the Bolivia as well, securing the Dragon. Quite a nice fight by Dragonflow, even if they lose a lot of the members.
It was really, really close, and it continues to be a banger of a series here. On the live feed, it looked like DCO was maybe trying to go for a Baron play, but instead it is just going to be the dance. The back and forth battle to see who's going to be able to take this Baron, and at this point, it is a toss-up. A very even game. Gonna be Mario's now maybe caught out of position. He's gonna get hit by that Blade of the Ruined King. He's gonna get shut down. Matchy with a massive Cyclone is gonna be able to get a lot of damage there with a double kill coming in from Prince. And now it's Nemra trying to be able to bring some plays. Gonna get shut down thanks to Holy Carrot, and now Ojifu looking to be able to finish the job. Great use of the hostile takeover. Riley survives long enough to let Ojifu do the deed, and it's the ace, the 5-for-4 in favor of DCO.
The controversial one at a time strat where everyone kind of walks into their demise until Ojifu arrives and cleans up the fight. But that was such a nice fight once again by DCO. We can get, if we get a replay to see how it happened, but it all starts with Prince getting the solo kill in the top lane against Marius, and this is a thing that will continue happening. Prince has enough damage to kill Marius, and he will be able to do that so well. And we see how everything starts with Marius dying. I don't know how the Nami survived for so long, and we see how valuable the Grand Ultimate is as well, because it bounced so many times that it meant the passive was coming. But if not for the fact that CBI survived for so long, I think that this fight goes much more in favor of the side of Dragon.
Yeah, he's going for that Scuttle Crab, but he gets it. He gets it. It's a double kill, you know, at the end of that one for Ojifu after the good hostile takeover from Riley. Going to be able to keep him alive long enough. Going to be able to get some damage onto both Snoop Dogg and to Iron 4 to be able to pick up that kill, and it results in CBI, you know, not getting the play that they want. But now Prince is going to be moving forward. Just going to be dashing to and fro and trying to do what they can, but it's going to be in trouble. Prince is still alive as we do get Snoop Dogg being able to pick up that one kill. Meanwhile, Cyclone used from Matsy. Nemra's going to try to go forward. Going to go golden and does be able to avoid the knockup, and then perfect executions away. Ojifu's going to flash forward. It's going to be the hostile takeover. Not going to do too much. A root onto 4, but no real follow-up there, so it ends up just being one kill there for CBI. Their health bars are extremely low, but they are posturing towards Baron. I don't know if they can do this. Seeing that Nemro's bottom side, they're looking to go for it, and they are melting Baron down.
They have the bar. That's it.
It is so fast, and they're going to be able to take that Baron out of just one kill play.
Yeah, and this is a huge mistake out of the side of Dragonclaw, because that fight was completely out of nowhere. Like, they didn't even need to force the fight, but Prince tried to move around quite nicely. He doesn't even flash away. He doesn't use ultimate to get reset onto his Q. So he just kind of forces himself into a bad spot. Now, I think Dragonclaw may have a good position for this dragon that it's already up and they are going to force the fight on, but I think they could have done much better job in that mid lane fight, and CBI, even with just one kill, they were able to collect the Baron buff. They do not have, though, the flashing. Prince!
Yeah. Prince is going to try to flash away, does still have Vanguard's Edge. Shadow Wave will be used, going to land onto the mat.
The flash again!
And now Demigod's going to try to flash forward. Vanguard's Edge is going to get used. It's going to be a golden brand, as Iron 4 Demigod does survive, and it is still very healthy members of CBI.
That's right,
yeah, DCO has to back away. That is soul point for a CB Infusion.
Yeah, and Dragonclaw should have had the better positioning into the dragon fight, into the river for the dragon fight, but they were all over the place responding a wave that was completely useless. Oh, they are dead.
Yeah, Riley is gonna fall, gonna try to survive longer, but won't really make a difference there as Baron gets taken, and now the rest of CBI is looking to be able to go in for not only the mid-inhib tower, but also mid-inhib. Prince is not up for another 7 seconds, and they are going to be looking to be able to use that Baron and the power of Mario to be able to finish the job. Ojifu's going to use Featherstorm to try to get away. Cyclone's going to be used by Matsy. Nemra's going to be going golden, trying to be able to survive long enough as well. Will fall potentially to the calling from Holy Carrot, but no, will survive. We have Iron 4 Demigod the kill. Prince is also low, comes back and goes straight to Fountain, and CBI take us to a game 3. Hold that thought, though. They are extremely low. Matsy's trying to be able to maybe do what he can, but I think he knows that it's over. Okay, yeah. CBI takes us to a game 3.
Woo. that was something to say the least. Like that was such a good game by CBI Infusion and that by CB Infusion, and I cannot express how well they turned around because the game started with a really good early game by Dragonclaw. Dragonclaw played that early game so nicely. Like it should have been so hard for CB Infusion to come back, but bot lane domination just allowed for them to do so much. The brand Nami lane was unstoppable. Like it never felt like they could be destroyed, and they had a kill against them at the start of the game as well. So props to Demigod and Sigafy for how they play the later stages of the game, and also for Marius because he got so kill consistently, but he was always a strong frontliner. And CB Infusion knew what they needed to do most of the time in this game, which was a clear contrast from the previous game where they kind of forced themselves into bad spots and bad team fights.
Yeah, definitely a really good play to win mentality from CB Infusion.
Yeah.
After the awkward early game stage, they didn't let that get to them, and they were able to find plays that they were able to work out for them. Some of them were messy. Of course, we had the ace against them in the 5v4 that Menra and Ojifu were able to clean up, but for the most part, CB Infusion felt comfortable behind the 8 ball, and they were able to retaliate quite nicely against Dragonclaw Ocean. And I gotta say, I really didn't see the potential for a good Renata as much as I wanted to see from Rylai. I think that it could have potentially been a little bit better, and you have to wonder if a different support was picked. Maybe a Karma, maybe the Bard once again. Would we have seen the 2-0 sweep? We don't know for sure, but it definitely was, I think, rough in the early game, especially when Demigod was able to get that double kill. After that point, he was just so far in the lead.
Yeah. But with this, we do know that we are going into a game 3. We need to see what adaptations are we going to get for both teams because there's champions that now we need to take into consideration. This brand, for example, are they going to ban it? Are they going to give it up again? Will they take away the Nami instead, or how are they going to play around this? The fact that even though the Wukong was a fun attempt, like will they try and keep up with the Wukong jungle? So I feel like there's a couple of things that we will see from both teams coming into this last game that should be interesting and should show another phase of both of these teams.
Hey, shout out to Low Budget LCS rating the VTS for week 1. Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate your guys' support as well. But before we take it to a game 3, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to get Becky Rita up here to talk about game 2 and our expectations moving into a pivotal game 3 moment. This week 1 has been super fun already, and we are just getting started. We'll be right back, folks.
Welcome back, everybody! We are here in the pregame lobby for Game 3 between Dragonclaw Ocean and CB Infusion. In that game 2, we just saw CBI pull it back, take down Dragonclaw, and we're getting closer to to TDS's prediction just being correct. You know, we just need CBI to pull out one more game here against DCO to take this one home. And once again, another real slobber knocker of a game, but a lot more heavily leaning towards CBI. And I'm curious, you talked a little about this in the post-game lobby, but I'm curious as to what you think necessarily went wrong and what DCO needs to do in Game 3 to get things back on their side, get that momentum back on their side. And either of you can give an answer to that. I didn't address one of you, so go ahead.
You want to go?
Yeah, sure, I'll go.
Okay.
I think there's two questions here that I think are gonna have to get answered. One is who is playing in the mid lane? Are we gonna see a swap once again? I don't think that there was really an issue with Nemra, playing as the Akali. I thought that they played really, really well. Yeah, at one point had that 10-sack Dark Seal, so I don't really think that that was the issue, but I think that the style of play, the gameplay style that you get is different, and so you warm up with one player, then you sub it out in game 2, and now you have to maybe play a different style there for them. But my other question is, what is this bottom lane going to be? Iron4 Demigod, I think, performed very well in both games. I don't want to say carried game 2. I think, he was a pivotal factor in being able to take that win. Just the massive damage with the Nami assistance off of the Pyroplasms and the Pillar of Flames to be able to pick up double kills and just damage left and right. But now decision here is, do they want to go for a little bit more of a classic pick? Do they play the Xayah again? Do they pair it with a tank support? Or do they go with something completely different here? There's just a lot of questions about champion and player selection that I'm really curious about.
Yeah, champion selection, I think, in particular, gets a lot more complicated now that
Yeah.
CBI has thrown a wrench into the mix with the inclusion of the brand AD carry, because that sort of unexpected pocket pick really makes draft a lot harder. Because if you don't necessarily have an answer prepared for it, and I can't imagine that DCO is likely played against many brand AD carries.
Yeah.
So, do you just ban it? Because that's just losing a ban, basically. So, I'm
That's
curious
true.
as to your perspective, TDS. Do you play through the possible cheese, or do you just get rid of the brand and accept that you're going to lose a ban on a meta pick there?
So the thing there that I'm trying to think about is that yes, I think it's better to ban it away because I feel like you're essentially not going to experience to have enough experience to be able to answer it immediately. The problem that I can see with that is two particular things. One is, are you really sure that you want to throw away one of your bans? Because obviously there's a lot of teams that value their own bans quite a bit. And the two is, are you sure that's it? Because yes, the brand pick may be the pocket pick that it's bringing, but that doesn't mean that there's not a chance for another mage to be actually
Mhm.
playing in the bot lane. And if that's
Exactly.
the case, do you actually value taking away the brand because he's going to take anything else? So why do you care about banning the brand away? There can be better ways to approach the draft that way, and that's kind of the things that I'm thinking for Dragonclaw, which I am afraid as well. I would be excited to see if the AD carry from the side of CBI can play another mage, but it's a bet that you have to take in drafting sometimes.
Yeah, it's a gamble you have to take. And I think another perspective you could look at is maybe instead of targeting the brand, you target the Nami. Because Nami
True.
is a lot more flexible, and she just happens to work really well with mages like Brand. So she can work well with the mage, she can work well with AD carries. It's similar to how when Funnel was super popular, you'd see the Taric ban rather than the ban on the Funnel targets, because
Yeah.
Taric was the enabler rather than the person who was actually doing the damage. It's sort of that perspective. I know as a TC, as a card game player, it's like, do you ban the problem card or do you ban the card that causes the problem card? It's hard to necessarily figure out what the best approach to it is, but we'll have to see what DCO decides to do in game 3. Will they be caught off guard by this spicy bot lane picks, or will they hold strong, hold steady, and go for the gold in taking out their first win of the season in a 2-1 fashion? Both of these teams are ready for draft, so I'll let you two take it away. We'll see what happens in the mix here. Good luck, lads.
Thank you, Becky. Rita, appreciate you as always. I mean, just starting off the series and starting off this tournament right, it's definitely going to be a really, really fun 10 weeks for us here at VTS. But with that being said, and with the introductions out of the way, I mean, these teams need no introduction at this point. Game 3 has begun. The winner of this game, and this game only, will determine who is going to remain, take this win, go 1-0 in the VTS, and get themselves moving forward. CBI and Fusion are once again going to be blue side with Dragonclaw Ocean, this time sticking with red side. They make the decision to stick with the red side, having the opportunity to go for those counter picks at R3 and in R5. Now, last 2 games, Mario's or Snoop Dogg has had the first pick, been that Volibear, but it's not going to be the case for game 3. It's going to get banned out.
Yeah, and attacking what we talked about, right? Do you attack the cheese pick that came out of nowhere, potentially just throwing a ban away, or do you actually go for another problem that was apparent? Because the Volibear was actually becoming huge in the mid game. Like, apart from the brand, like, he was getting so much stun, so many stuns happening, so much things. So we see the ban quite nicely, and we see the pick of the Karma, first pick of the series, and a champion that I love to get first pick because she can be flexed to mid lane, to top lane, to AD carry as well, although not a lot of people play it, and to support. So she's so good in so many situations, and it gives you so much variety to do a CB infusion. Responded with an Leona, which we haven't seen much engaged supports in this series, if I'm not wrong. Like, we haven't seen the Nautilus or the Leona at all at this moment in the series, so quite interesting to see it finally.
Yeah, and it's going to be a completely different look here for Prince. Going to be more looking towards going in for that initiation, and they're going to pair it up with Ojifu picking up the Severe as well. So the opportunity to be able to move in really quickly, that upgraded Shurelias and the movement speed that it provides is now going to be available. And that just tells us, 0 to 100 for Dragonclaw Ocean. What are they going to be able to complement that here in their R3 through R5? And what does CB and Fusion worry about now? Because it opens up a lot of gap close as, okay, we got the Lucian locked in again.
And the thing is, with the Lucian getting picked here, although I'll quickly touch on the Sivir Leona because it's a nice lane to get push on and to follow up engage. It allows the Sivir to just make the Leona work out quite nicely and just get immediate engage. Now, the Lucian Nami here, I like the Nami here because I was thinking about it. You can just take the Nami here, you have the Karma as well, you have double enchanters to buff up this Lucian, and this just makes the passive from the Lucian quite great. But it's not just that, like, you can still throw the Lucian into the mid lane, you have another chance to go for another carry in the AD carry position, and then have the Karma go top lane. And it's just such a nice array of flex play that these champions allow you to have, that it's kind of hard for Dragonclaw to just immediately go for. They go for the safe pick in the form of the Victor, which we haven't seen either in this series yet, but I like the pick. Great late game, allows for Dragonclaw to have a great late game potential with the Saber and the Victor, and it's setting up quite nicely for a really long game potentially.
Now, it's obviously going to be, give Lucian all the buffs. We're going to see the Ivern in the jungle, and we're going to see just another support somewhere else. Like, that has to be what the composition is coming through from Infusion. We can go for the Morgana, then go for something else like they were talking about. But we'll see if CB Infusion wants to go that route, because it would definitely be very spicy. Dragonclaw Ocean, though, they're going to be a little bit more classic, another nice, strong scaling mage in the Victor with Menra, and Prince who has been denied Ornn in games 1 and 2, is going to have that available here for game 3.
This could still be a flex in the jungle, just saying.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's potentially there. It's unlikely, but that could still be it. Because one thing that is known is for CB Vision, they have thrown the same bans in every game. It's been the same. So they haven't changed much. In comparison, Dragonclaw banning as well the brand means that there's not going to be that same potential with the Nami. But to answer the Ornn potentially in the top lane, we have the Darius. This is a much less of a flex pick. It's not that common to see it in the bot lane, but it can happen. Same in the mid lane. But if it goes into the top lane, I'm quite in favor of this. I like the Darius potentially in the top lane to get that damage down. And one thing that the Darius suffers quite a lot is getting kited. But the Nami and the Karma can allow for the Darius to just get movement speed boost and just run into the enemy backline. And I feel like that's something quite nice that CB Infusion can play around, as well as just having a secondary carry in the form of the Viego there.
CB Infusion, I mean, they've got it picked up as well. Snoop is going to be going in for the Viego. They're looking to scale up and get themselves to a late game point where they can just outright win the game with massive buffs to Snoop Donk and to Iron 4 Demigod and just win out in these fights.
Yep.
But Dragonclaw Ocean, they're going to stick with this just high octane, super quick team fight play with the Wukong coming in for Matzi. A little ambitious, maybe looking for Matzi to get a little bit of redemption here in game 3. He didn't play poorly in game 1, but there was definitely some room for improvement, and he could have had more power to him. And I think he has the chance to make it happen now. He's got some strong ults to be able to support that Cyclone.
That is true, and I like the team fighting potential prowess that we see from Dragonclaw. There's one problem that I find overall in this, and it's you're playing Wukong, a not so active jungler in the early game, not necessarily the strongest of junglers early on, and you have essentially 3 losing lanes. Like, I'm trying to see at this draft, and who is the lane that you want to play in favor of? Because you cannot play aggressively in top lane because Darius should essentially be able to outplay both of you, especially with the Viego. I think that 2v2 is not that good, especially if Darius gets a snowball. Karma just pushes the lane and that's it. Like you don't need to actually do anything as a Karma. You just push and go back. And then in bot lane you have the Lucian and Nami that will put pressure onto the Sivir and the Ona. So I'm trying to think what Matzi can do, and unless the early game goes completely nothing happens in the early game and we come into 15 minutes with both teams into an equal state, I can just see CB Infusion early on just a snowballing out of control and pile driving Dragonclaw into death, to say it like that.
Yeah, and I think you bring up a follow-up question for us is, let's say we get to the 25-minute mark and we've got an even game state. No, neither team is in a massive lead. We've got both of these teams with some late game advantages. I mean, who wins in that fight? Do the supports that CB Infusion have just give them the edge?
So the thing with this advantage that CB Infusion may get, it's the fact that it's the fact that even though it's a carry, it's a tank against an enchanter, and the enchanter will certainly get stronger the later the game goes on. I think that it has a lot to do with what they are trying to buff or what they are trying to do with their composition. So Leona, realistically, it's not going to get stronger than the Nami, but the value that she provides for this composition can be comparable to that of the Nami, because even though she can get disengagement or anything like that, as long as she can allow for the carries to get the maximum amount of damage down, she's going to find value. And I feel like if we're talking late game, like super late game state with 6 items, I would take Dragonclaw 100%. But if we're talking post 25 minutes around the 30-minute mark, CB Infusion actually has a good amount of damage to play around. Like dual enchanter with a high damage AD carry, because Lucian actually becomes a high damage AD carry, and a Viego as well that with a reset can just change the complete flow of the fight. I can see CB Infusion taking fights around the 25 to 35-minute mark as well.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it really is, I think, more up in the air here is, can CB Infusion continue to have these really good macro level play that's going to be able to get them into the right place at the right time, so they can set up for those tidal waves, they can set up for the Culling and the Heartbreaker to be able to do the most damage? Or does Dragonclaw Ocean kind of clean up their act? I think their game 2 team fighting was a little bit difficult just because of the composition that they had, and now they've got a little bit more of a traditional team fight that can work really, really well for them. And I think that Dragon Claw played a really strong game one with some really great team fights at their disposal. Like, go back to Prince being able to pick up a quadra kill. Like, really strong performances coming through from both teams in different aspects of the game. And as we move into game three, we've been wrong on our dragon predictions for both games 1 and 2,
True.
but it's been Mountain Soul in the first 2 games. Do you think it's going to be a Mountain Soul again for game 3, or what's your prediction?
Nah, I believe in Raito. It's going to be the Cloud Soul. I think it's going to be the Cloud Soul this time. Yeah,
All right,
I believe.
I'll double down with you. It is a double caster Cloud Soul prediction. You're hearing it now. No way that we can be wrong.
3 times in a row.
No way. No way. It has to be Cloud Soul. But with that being said, we've got ourselves a very pivotal game 3 on our hands. You definitely do not want to go anywhere. We'll be right back, folks. All right, folks. All right, friends. All right, everyone. After 2 exciting games, it has all come down to this. Both CB Infusion and Dragonclaw Ocean have the chance to be able to take their first series win in the Victoris Triumph series, and one of them will fall. My name is Moose, and I'm joined here by the one and only TDS, and as we get ourselves started, no major shenanigans just yet, a 5-point start for both squads.
Yeah, they really want to stare into each other's eyes. That's about it. That's what I get from these starts. But I want to see action early on. I want to see kills. I hope that we get a kill in the bot lane or whoever it is, because that bot lane should get a kill. Like watching both bot lanes. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think, both like Riley and Ojifu had a really good game. One kind of fell off a little bit there and showed that Iron for Demigod and Sig, they've brought back their power here in game 2. That Lucian as well from Holy Carrot was really, really strong. And now we get to see this Lucian piloted by a different player, which means that, we could see a different play style from this Lucian as well. And it just, the opportunities for an exciting conclusion to this series are endless. But for now, though, both of these junglers just looking to be able to clear out their red sides, looking to maybe even go for a full clear if you're talking about Snoop Dogg, and trying to be able to do what they can. Okay, hold that pop though. We got Zenith Blade landing, and Sig's going to take a couple of extra hits there. Riley's going to be in trouble, but can be able to back away. Glacial Augment is there, but a couple of pots consumed.
yeah, so it was bad for Riley, but they took quite a nice trade onto the Lucian and the Nami, forcing even the level 2 advantage into their favor, which means that we're not going to see the hyper aggression from the Lucian Nami, but it's something that gets punished quite heavily, and it's a thing that we're going to see much later on in this lane. But one thing that I wanted to mention about talking about the mid lane is that, yes, we saw Holy Carrot better in the second game, but he's coming back into a lane where he's not essentially going to try and outplay or have carry potential. He's going to try and help people do that. And I'm kind of curious if that affects Holy Carrot's playstyle or not.
I remember I played Ivern mid lane a couple of times, back at the beginning of season 12, and it's fun.
Nice.
And playing support mid can work really, really well. I saw just yesterday in a diamond level game that I was casting, I was Soraka mid, and those wishes can just put in so much impact if they're used correctly. And it was up against the Karthus too, so it only made sense. But it's now up to CB Infusion to, capitalize upon what they can do in the late game, but they got to get through the awkward early laning phase that they have. Matsy's going to be dealt a lot of damage, and Riley going to have to flash forward to get the Zenith Blade to make sure that Matsy is able to survive. That did not work out the way that they wanted.
Yeah, that was Flash and Ignite from the Leona traded for the heal of the Lucian, and that's such a strange play to happen, particularly from Matsy. I don't know why he decided to engage her. Like, there was no good positioning to try and make the play happen, and now it's CBI looking for a potential die. I think they can get this, yeah.
Oh yeah, Prince is now in trouble, going to be able to flash forward and will force out the flash from nobody quite yet, but the dive is now coming through. Teleport coming in from Nemra, going to be able to get the knockup. First blood goes over to Marios, but Nemra is on the way. Can't quite follow up, so they end up getting that one for free, and maybe even looking to go for a little bit more. Nope, get it back away.
Yeah, no, there's even teleport onto the orange, so there shouldn't happen, but the dive does happen. I do gotta say that it was misexecuted. In the first attempt, the karma was not needed at all. Like, if you just get in, hold the aggro as the Diego, and then just get the kill with the Darius, you potentially just blow one flash, in all honesty. But at the end of the day, it is a kill. It is on the Darius, so you do get the value, and already the game looking so nice for CBI.
Right, Prince now having to worry about that extra gold advantage and worry about the threat of getting chunked down. Meanwhile, Holy Carrot gets chunked down a little bit there from Nemra. Not the Electrocute Victor, but the Phase Rush. Going to be able to move away from those roots and reposition themselves in those team fights when that does come into the fray. But, bringing it back up topside here, Marios should be feeling in control of this lane for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, it's such a... wait a second, just in case.
Yeah, Riley's gonna get hit by the Spectral Maw as well as the bubble for the Zenith that's gonna put him into a really bad spot. And Iron for Demigod says thank you for the kill. Zenith Blade is going to land. Ojifu is extremely low. And now Matsi is going to try to be able to pick up one there. Heal not going to be available, but Sig is trying to be able to stay alive. Oh my god! The shielding and the healing from Sig are going to keep Snoop Dogg alive. Meanwhile, topside, Mara is going to be able to pick up the kill against Prince. Iron for Demigod's going to get the one against Nemra. And Sig is still alive. Holy moly!
Supports, Enchanters. I don't know how they make it happen, but they do. Double Enchanter, saving the life out of a Snoop Dogg, and ignoring the fact that we also got a kill in the top lane. That was such a crucial team fight or victory for CBI because it's not only 2 kills onto the Lucian, you're essentially blowing so many summoners out of the side of Dragonclaw, and that means that they are going to be so bad into the continuing fight. You see them playing the top lane, it's 5-on-5, but the fact that the Darius already has the I forget the name in English for that, but the hammer try and make the most damage onto this tank. Yeah, the Phage. Like in Spanish has a really funny name, so I just always remember that. But yeah, the Phage just allows for this kill to be much more easy, and then he also has the Ghost, so it's even easier to execute. Ooh.
All right, DCO, though, able to get something out of that play, but might be costing them some lives. Iron for Demigod with the support healing, going to be able to get a piercing strike against Ojifu, but not going to pick up the kill. Hextech Drake does get picked up, and holy moly, I mean, that's the phrase of the day. Thank you, Victoris, for showing me that. I mean, that's great. Holy moly. It could still be a Mountain Soul for Game 3. Cloud Drake is spawned up, so no Cloud Soul this series.
See, we could have been... We can be wrong 3 times in a row, apparently.
Oh, no.
Riot doesn't like us. That's it.
Yep. I'm going to be shooketh. I'm actually going to be really surprised if it's a Mountain Soul, because out of the last 2 days, that'll be 5 out of 6 Mountain Souls for games that I've casted, and that's a really big number. Like, very rarely does something like that happen, but yeah, it's like 100 and what, a 1 in 120 chance that we get 3 Mountain Souls in a row.
Math,
like,
so.
Regardless, it's a very low percentage that it actually happens. And speaking of low percentages, Mario's here, maybe in a low percentage play. Matthew is level 5, doesn't quite have too much out of that play, but is going to look to go for the healing and will end up getting shut down, giving that gold over to Matsu, who is now level 6.
Yeah, importantly, if Marius could have gotten the heal onto the Ornn, I can see a potential for at least trading a kill. But really nice gang timing onto from Matsi onto the Darius. Marius really aggressive thanks to the fact that he's so far ahead, but that just means that he's an easier target to kill. And at the end, they do collect the kill, especially without the flash and the ghost. It was going to be much easier for them to be able to pull off the play. So credit to them, they put themselves into the scoreboard and close up the lead. Oh.
But yeah, On the Hunt's going to get used. The bubble will land onto Rylai. Going to have to run away using the On the Hunt movement speed. Oh, but he still dies. Piercing Light will pick up an easy free kill there for Iron 4 Demigod.
That is something that can never happen to you. You cannot die to the Piercing Light like that as a Leona. Especially when you know that it's bound to happen. Like, he was queuing, he was just posturing in a line to try and get the wave. So, mistake by Raleigh paying with his life and giving another kill to Iron 4 Demigod. This Lucian is so strong, and everywhere in the map we were talking about this. Like, there's barely anything that Matsi can do to respawn, or the other lanes can do to respawn, because there's barely anything that they can do. Like, the Karma is simply an immovable object. You have in the top the Darius being so strong, even pushing forward and much more forward than the lane, and then you have this bot lane that is super strong. Oh.
Yeah, Iron 4 Demigod's going to move forward. Sig will pick up the kill against Ojifu, though, as Culling will get expended to be able to pick up the flash out of Riley. And it's just like taking candy away from the baby. CBI currently in a commanding 3K lead.
Yeah, they are so strong. I think for the second game in a row, we see a 2v2 kill in the bot lane, or another one at least. We're seeing so many of them happening, and I just think that CBI is in so much control that they can do whatever they want. Like they have now Repair, they can come in and dive this Ornn. Even with ultimate, like it's going to be much more easy, especially because they also have the ultimate out of the Diego. So Prince is just bound to die here. Like they can just let the turret die and then dive.
Yep.
That's
So
what
you're
they
gonna be
want,
Rift Herald going in for the headbutt. Prince will just be lamb to the slaughter. Or I guess ram to the slaughter, actually, as Marios will pick up another kill there and looks to just continue to escort this Rift Herald. With Matsy in the bottom side of the Rift, there is no follow-up. So not only do they get the tower, but they also get the and one. That and one opportunity, of course, being that headbutt that Shelly was able to provide.
Yeah, and it's nice to see them playing like that because it's a play that happens because they know that Matsy is not there. Like, they see Matsy thanks to this whole quadrant of vision that they have down here in the bot lane, even though one is getting cleared. They know that Matsy is down there, which means that they can send Snoop Dogg to the top side, which they wanted to anyways, and they can also set Holy Carrot, and the play just naturally happens effectively. And I like that CBI are executing so nicely these kind of plays as a team so early on in the season.
Very strong. And it just goes to show that, you know, just because it's a new season, just because it is the very beginning of the summer 2022 split, we still can't get great coordination and great play.
Not another one.
And that's exactly
no.
what we're seeing. Ojifu is extremely low already. Colin's going to get dropped, and the entirety of it gets hit on to Riley there. Going to be down to half HP for both the Severe and the Leona. But for now, Cloud Drake is going to be started. Snoop Dogg is going to be taking a little bit of damage onto it. And Sig, with the rest of CBI, are going to be able to pick up that Drake. And what do you know? It is not a Mountain Drake for Game 3.
Yeah, it is the Inferno. I was a little bit late on the prediction, but I said it in the previous
All
game,
right.
so I'll take that.
Yep.
Not really. But it's just like I like the toggle that we just saw because it showed the lack of vision that is all over the map for Dragonfall. They barely see anything in the map, and it's just so hard to try and go for a play or so hard to answer anything if they have any vision at all, barely any vision at all. But it's not like they can go for vision either, because if they go too far forward, guess what? You get answered by a super strong Lucian Nami, you get answered by a Karma with a Viego, and the Darius, if he's moving around, he probably kills you. Ujifu is so low.
Yeah, I don't think that this is a fight that they
wow.
can go for, and you just die. Teleport's going to get used. Ironforge Demigod is on a rampage, but now potentially in a 2v1. Nemra going to be coming through. Demigod's going to be able to get the double kill and also has the blast code.
Oh, no.
Oh my lord.
Oh, that is so
Ironforge Demigod is at least a bronze 4 Demigod. Holy moly. Holy moly. That's a double kill there for this Lucian.
That's a tilting play. That's the play that can just mentally get you out of a game. So that's harsh for Nembra. And it's not like he misplayed anything like that. It's just that like Iron 4 Demigod is so strong. Oh wait, he can get a kill here.
He wants it, but without Chaos Storm, he can't actually
He
finish
has
the
flash,
job.
yeah,
He's
he
gonna
has flash.
flash forward, and now Matsy will come in with the Cyclone to get the shutdown onto Sig as well. So they do clean up those kills, and they do get a massive gold bounty onto Nemra.
Yeah, punishing the mispositioning from the bot laners. Oh, Maria's really
Hey,
good.
all right, Ojifu is going to be in
Ojifu's
trouble
dead,
while the
yeah.
hunt is used, but yeah, is absolutely gone. The
I
dog
know,
will
it's
even
so
take
funny.
the soul as well. Has Heartbreaker ready, but without any other camps to go for. He's going to just try to continue to harass Riley and Prince, and I don't think they can even contest this one right now, and they don't. They back away.
Yeah, like honestly, the fact that there's not going to be in a dive attend, I think it's better for Dragon Club because that would be much more risky. They are looking to stop the Darius from backing, which I think they can, but I don't think they can kill him. Ulti coming in.
They're going for it. Marios is very
the
low on health
flashing.
and mana, but he has the ghost, and he is just going to
he
speed
did
away.
Lamo.
Oh my goodness, Mario's even BMing as Riley is going to get hit by the long-range tidal wave. Sig will take the kill, and that is a 2-for-0 special with a little bit of BM mixed in as well for CBI.
They saw the play and we saw it as well. They see Darius, but they can, it's so hard to kill him. They even commit flash and they didn't even get it. It's so painful for Dragonflow. They are trying to pull a place, but they just simply can't. 15 minutes in, at 28,000 to 22,000, if my maths are not that bad, it's 6,000 gold lead in favor of CBI, and it's just so hard for them. Can we get a gold toggle onto the champions? Because I feel like the difference right now is so high. Yeah, like the only one close is Nembra. That's it. Like Sigafy is ahead of the Ornn.
Oh, he's ahead of Ojifu as well.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
that's so bad.
that's not good. That's actually not good here. We get to take a look at that replay once again, where we started that BM. Both the Call of the Forge God and Solar Flare is used, but Decimate just gives him enough healing, and Ghost gives him enough movement speed to be able to get away. And we get to see that little bit of BM as well. But hey, we got it. And then it follows up by Sig being able to get a really great tidal wave to just get even more out of that.
Yeah, that was such a good tidal wave as well, by the way. Like the positioning of it, it's perfect to get the kill onto the Leona, but you just gotta feel a little bit bad for Dragon Club, because it's not like they are not looking for plays, it's just that they are simply not working out. Oh, maybe this one?
And this one has to. Mario's is going to be all alone in a 1v3 situation. Does have the Decimate to try to get some healing, but can't get
so close.
the Noxian Guillotine on to Riley. He's going to be able to go away. 40 seconds remain, though, until Dragon 3 spawns. And that could potentially be an opportunity for DCO to come back. OG is going to get hit by the Culling. Might be in trouble. Going to be able to survive that time, but now Iron 4 Demigod is going to try to pick up more. Matthew's going to be the first one. He misses the blast cone. Oh no. As he whittles away and just continues to give gold over to the solution 7-1 and 3.
So I wish I could sing Crawling by Linkin Park, but I'm afraid of a copyright strike, so I won't sing it. But that it felt like that.
Smart.
Yeah, I don't wanna make anything bad happening. Whoa, Nembra.
Yeah, not only does he get the massive damage on Nembra, but we also get the and one again from Shelly. They're going to be able to pick up the tower, so
17 meter in next inhibitor turret.
Yeah, like this is looking probably like a route here for CBI, the most dominant of games, and very little, I think, that DCO can do to bring it back. Prince going for the Hail Mary Call of the Forge God, just kind of giving away that ultimate there for, unfortunately, no reason.
Yeah, that's a karma. That's just simply almost impossible to pull off. And we get the repeat here onto the mid lane. Like, Ojifu realistically survives by the skin of his teeth. Like, not even by a really small hair on his head. But then Matsi tried to go for the play. He simply cannot have damage. And this, it's on the edge. It's painful. It happens. But look at the bright side. At least he blew the heal out of the Lucian. So something, right? That's a win, at least. I guess. I think.
Well, you know, you have to find a silver lining somewhere. And I can count on you, TDS, at least for that one, to give it to us.
I'm looking, Sir doesn't even have a mythic, and Lucian has 2 items.
Yeah.
And
this was the fear that, you know, you manifested here at the very beginning of the game. You said, this, you know, what lane does DCO win in the early game? And they don't win any lane.
Yep.
They had no opportunity to be able to get kills onto Holy Carrot. He's still 0-0 and 4. Iron 4 Demigod and Sig are able to just outmaneuver Ojifu and Riley, and they're able to take the level 3 and beyond to take the advantage. And now, like, and then, you know, you talk about Prince up against Mario's just as always going to have the advantage up against the Ornn early game. So in order for DCO to win this one, it's going to take a massive outplay, I think, from DCO, or a major misstep from CBI in order to make it happen. But anything is possible, and we're going to get to see if they can make something happen now. Matsi is going to be on the flank. The Call of the Forge is going to land on an Iron 4 Demigod, but it deals no damage, nor does the Solar Flare, and the rest of DCO is now running for the hills. Iron 4 Demigod takes 1. Matsi's going to fall. That's going to be a double kill for Demigod. He wants more. But DCO is just going to have to run away, running for the hills, as Mario's is going for proxy farming in the base with that Hole Breaker. That is a sub 20-minute
No, get the last hit, no! was 1 second delay. Well, I don't. It's fine. They are so far ahead. It doesn't matter, honestly. Like this.
Okay, Mario's though, Decimate, yeah, just gonna walk away after they take another tower, and that is an on-spawn Baron Nashor.
Yeah, they can kill that. It's super easy. They have double enchanter, illusion with 2.5 items. They have nobody that could realistically try to even sniff the Baron Pit. So yeah, just take it. Like take everything in the raid for that matter, because there's nothing that Dragonclaw can do to contest this. It's so sad. And I want to point out, I don't think do we have a repetition replay for the last play for the last team fight that just happened, because yeah, for the topside fight, because that is the perfect opportunity for Dragonclaw to come back into the game. They have the ultimate from the Urn, they have the ultimate from the Wukong, they have every member up there, especially with the I forgot the name of the ultimate from the Sivir, but it's just everything perfectly set up for that. And just the Snoop Dogg alone makes that play completely useless, because he stops the Wukong, he doesn't allow for it to happen, and we see this is the perfect opportunity. They know that the Darius is in bot lane because of he's just pushing there. He has no solo. This is the perfect chance, and Mastery just completely cannot do anything. So it's just completely denied immediately, and then the re-engage from the side of CBI is just so perfectly done, and Demigod just runs on top of them as hard as he can.
And with Baron now spawning, I think the expectation is that CBI should be able to close this one out within the next 5 minutes. I think that, it would be a great defensive win for DCO if they are able to hold on within this next 3 minutes and bring themselves back. But with an inhibitor down in the mid lane and now Baroned up minions in the other two, there's a lot of defense that DCO has to have with not a lot of wave clear. That is consistent. Sig is going to be able to get a nice tidal wave, but it's a shutdown on to Iron for Demigod. That is exactly what DCO needs. But now can the rest of DCO finish the job and clean up shop? Mario comes in, the Decimate double kill, the Noxie Guillotine for the triple, the Quadra, and the he gets it! The first series of the VTS is gonna end with a pentakill from Mario's. What a day, what a series, and what a game.
My prediction was right. I take that.
Hey,
but yeah. Huh?
No, go ahead. I guaranteed a game 3. We got the game 3, and it ended up being everything that we could have wanted. Yep. We got 2 really close games, and then CBI figures it out and gets the reverse 2-1 sweep against DCO, ending with Mario's getting the first pentakill of the VTS. Let's get some pentas in the chat, folks.
On the first week. So I'm a fan of stealing the pentas from your teammates, because I just like to laugh at that. But they get the pentakill onto Mario's, great display. He was essentially going to be one of the main carries of this team, so it works out quite nicely. And like, that's the thing with this game. Like CB Infusion had almost everything set up for them to be successful in this game, because like we talked about, unless something goes horribly wrong and the game just stays neutral or goes in favor of Dragonclaw, this is going to be such a hard game for Dragonclaw. They have no winning lanes. They have a mid to late game jungler. They don't even have ways of playing in general. It's just so hard for them to go. And this was a perfect teamfight. Like, this was the best teamfight they could have hoped for, but it was just way too late. Like, they don't kill the members fast enough. And you know which members are the ones to stay alive for his Darius? The enchanters, so they can just keep buffing him up.
Let's take a look at it one more time. Mario flashes forward to get the Decimate double kill, the Noxie Guillotine for the Quadra, and then of course, the final little bit of blood to take down Nenma to get the pentakill. I mean, you can't ask for anything more in week 1. But let's bring the full analyst desk up here to just talk about this game and this series. Becky Rita, you're here, you've been watching this series, and I know you're just chomping at the bit to talk about it.
Oh yeah, that last match, definitely a little unfortunate, considering how exciting the first 2 games were. Seeing that kind of steamroll in game 3, it's just sort of like, man, come on. We already had, a great main course, a great appetizer. Then we get to dessert, and then you get like a single scoop of vanilla ice cream. It's like, wow, cool. I guess it's. I guess I'll take it. It was nice ice cream, but overall, I think it's still like it shows that what we were talking about with CBI in the pre-show, despite the missteps in game one, ended up coming to fruition. This team really did excel in the areas we expected them to, and in some areas we didn't expect them to, like through some of the draft angles that they found. And in this last game, we felt that there was just another huge draft angle for them because
Yep.
they did what many teams fail to do, which is draft winning lanes. Just if you win lane across the map, you can win the game very easily. And they were able to execute that very well, as well, just because the players performed exceptionally well. Gotta give a lot of credit, especially to our Iron 5 champion, what was
Iron
Iron
4.
5, Iron 4,
Iron
whatever.
4.
Iron 5's not real, It's
Yeah.
they took out Division 5s. Sorry, I'm an old man. Uh Iron 4 Demigod really showcasing some good play on the Lucian, picking it up. Although the mid lane popped off in the previous game on Lucian, now we got the 80 carry pop off on Lucian. So next we need to see Mario's pop off on Lucian, and then we have the trifecta completed. I don't think he can jungle, but we can try. We could try, maybe later on
I
in the
feel it's
season.
possible. Yeah, I think it's possible. Why not? Just do it.
Later in the
Absolutely.
season, if you got a lead. But we have the MVP vote up right now. Who do you feel is MVP of the series? Was it the pentakill expert Dunkmaster Darius in the top lane, Mario's? Is it Snoop Dunk in the jungle? Holy Carrot showcasing some great gameplay on the Lucian in game 2. Demigod showcasing great brand gameplay in game 2. Or Sig, who was there and helped out quite a bit.
I'm kind of surprised. I'm kind of
Boy.
surprised with that last one. Do we get our MVP? Yeah, we get our MVP shoutouts, right? Because I have two. Like to
Okay,
me, there are
okay.
two clear ones, and it's one obviously Iron for Demigod. I think that he played great. Like his brand game was so good, and he also brought in a mix into the game plan that not a lot of players can allow. So I think that this series for him was really good. And to me, the other one is Sigafai. Actually, I think that his play on the Nami was super good. Like his tidal waves were actually so massive in most of those in those two games. And in the first one, even he made the Iron 4 Demigod survive for as long as possible. And I feel like if not for him, that game could have ended even earlier. So I feel like he deserves a lot of props in these 3 games.
Agreed. I think that, I mean, as much as cliche as it sounds, like it felt like CBI was playing as a team and they were looking to make it a team effort. You look back at that series and all 5 members had a moment where they were able to pop off at some point, whether it was the pentakill from Marios or even the Cho'Gath in game 1 having some really good frontline power that he was able to provide, whether it be the Volibear in game 2 that we got to see from Snoop Dogg. Holy Carrot played consistent and was playing for the team in all 3 games and was able to have a strong Karma game. I don't think died once as Karma in game 3, had a decent Lucian game. And then of course Iron 4 Demigod and Sig were able to, I think they didn't steamroll in game 2, but they definitely did in game 3. And congratulations for Marios to be able to get the pentakill. Iron 4 Demigod played the most positively consistent game out of the bunch, but he couldn't have done it without Sig. I think Sig was just such a catalyst for him for this entire series, and that's why I think it's a team effort. It's got to be a team MVP thing.
Well, unfortunately, we can't just give MVP to everyone. We got to pick one person. I'll be honest, I also voted for Sig because support bias, but I just because I want to give respect to. Was there any or is anybody in chat want to vote? Come on, there were 3 votes, and I was one of them. Chat members, please But you know what? Well, we do have our MVP decided then. Off of 3 votes. We have ooh, mama. We have the great Iron 4 Demigod will
Fair
be
enough.
our MVP. We'll have that graphic up just a moment. You know, we're doing these things live after all. But I know both of you talked about how strong Demigod played, and I do think that there is something commendable for not just playing well, but showcasing some incredible potential in terms of drafting for future games. Like maybe I'm just sort of like I'm sort of coping because I really like Brand, right? And I really was excited to see the Brand pick come out and do so well, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm excited, you know. I'm excited for the Brand. I think Demigod played really well on the Lucian as well, completely smashing the lane with the help of Sig on the Nami in both of those games. You know, maybe they should have banned the Nami like I said
Maybe.
in the pregame, you know. Nami was the problem. You know, this is why we can't just ban out the champion that has the high number. What enables them? You got to think about it. But overall, it's like sort of, you know, these things you have to think about going forward, but the season's not over, you know,
Yeah.
for either of these teams. They can definitely celebrate the 2-0, but for Dragonclaw, they have the rest of the season. They have 6 more weeks of incredible gaming ahead of them for sure. I'm looking at chat. I'm trying not to acknowledge it, but you know what? Thank you for the sub, I guess. Well, do we have the MVP graphic ready? Okay, very, very soon.
It just
So,
happened.
do either of you have anything you want to say about what these teams
Mm,
go? Do you have anything to say about DCO? Because although that game 3 was rather disappointing, I think they would consider that disappointing as well. You know, they showcased some good stuff in game 1 and in game 2 as well. Okay, never mind. We have the graphic here. Battle Boss Brand on the screen. Ooh, yes. Excellent selection there. Iron 4 Demigod pulling out the incredible game for CBI. Good stuff. Good stuff for sure.
quite a lot of bets on that 3 game series, but still performing quite nicely, getting a lot of kills, getting a lot of assists, obviously, and he certainly deserves the MVP. Like his performance was quite good in the whole 3 games. Like I feel like his consistency was not that bad, even though in the first game I think that he made an important blunder. It's still not that bad, and he at the end was able to perform in the 3 games.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I mean, like, I think at the end of the day, just being able to be consistent and being able to stay positively consistent is what's going to give you the edge here. And so, congratulations to not only CBI, but of course, congratulations to Iron 4 Demigod for being able to get our first MVP spot of this 10-week season. I mean, if this is what is to come for the later on weeks, it's going to be just a all-star S-tier tournament. You guys definitely don't want to
Yep.
miss it.
Yeah, you aren't going to want to miss it for sure. And there were some other results today as well. There was a match in the bracket in the group A between VGA and CBU actually. And that match went in favor of VGA 2-0. So they picked up their game. So congrats to them as well. If you happen to be watching the stream now, good stuff out there, good hustle. And of course, good hustle to the rest of the teams who are participating. We respect it. We appreciate it. So yeah, if that is it for us, we will go ahead and we'll be looking to, you know, close it out for the night. It's a late night. Some of us have been up. They're up quite late. Shout outs to Cow, who is watching the sunrise in the distance while we are talking.
Talk about
So
dedication.
yeah. Thank you all for watching. I am Becky Rita, the host. Joining me today, we had Moose, we have TDS, and we're all gonna be back here next week, of course, for more incredible VTS action, more Triumph Series gaming. Next week we have, let me check the schedule because I don't have it in front of me right now because I closed out of the tab. Please do not flame me. I actually do not know what game will be streamed next week yet. That will be decided at some point. But of course, if you want to know when that game is and you want to be there to watch it, make sure it'll be at the same time. You know, we don't know what teams it'll be, but it'll be at the same time. But there are other games, other series, other leagues. Make sure you hit that follow button. If you like the content, hit the subscribe button. If you like me, hit the subscribe button. Or don't, you know, you don't have to subscribe for me, but I do appreciate it. Subscribe for the people who are much more, you know, handsome to the right of me. To the right? Yeah, to the right of me. Subscribe for them instead. But you know what? We appreciate you tuning in. Follow, subscribe, follow us on Twitter. Join the Discord if you want to get in on the action yourself. And yeah, that will be it for us. So, once again, thank you all for watching. Make sure you tune in next week for more Triumph Series action. We'll catch you on the flip side. Have a great weekend, everyone.
You were my guiding wind. We soared across the sky. Who knew a storm would come and break apart this lie? Like a pillar of flame, my love burned through the roof. It couldn't be contained, but you were fireproof. I'm trapped in the void, an endless plain. No armor can protect me from this pain. Backstabbed by the one who I love most. Betrayed. How am I supposed to cope? I should be glad that we're apart. When you're so reckless with my heart. Revenge for the wounds that you can't see. Rebirth from the ashes where you left me. And when your tears fully stacked, I know that you'll come crawling back. I gave you 8 long years, and you just threw it away. They even got a new man, and you still wouldn't stay. I guess you had some reasons. They benched you that one split. They made you play Garen, you, me. But I never thought you'd quit. I'm trapped in the void, an endless plain. No armor can protect me from this pain. Backstabbed by the one who I love most. Betrayed. How am I supposed to cope? I should be glad that we're apart. When you're so reckless with my heart. Revenge for the wounds that you can't see. Rebirth from the ashes where you left me. And when your tears fully stacked, I know that you'll come crawling back. We are the ones who have lost, we're still fighting. We are the ones who have lost, we're still fighting. We are the ones who have lost, we're still fighting. We are the ones who have lost, we're still fighting. We are the ones who have lost, we're still fighting. This is goodbye with the words that I